I can't really see you, Rich, but I don't really care. I know what you look like.
I'm more beautiful than that. Think about that.
I mean, how beautiful is beautiful anyway?
Like the stars at night. I don't know. I don't want to like talk poetry and stuff.
Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder.
The beer holder, yeah. But I don't drink, so I can see it much clearer now.
Yeah, see? Two straight edge guys. Two guys that don't drink, and then who can't drink right now.
Don't. I love the weed.
That's why I corrected myself. I said straight edge, and I was like, oh, wait, no.
Yeah. Legal state.
Hey.
No.
I got, as a straight edge dude, I got no problems with people imbibing or smoking or doing whatever the fuck they want to do. I might be straight edge, but it's about me. It's not about anybody else. I don't give a fuck what anybody does.
All right, yeah. No one.
So y'all can party as hard as you want. Please enjoy.
I told Gary, I told the wife to order in. Here's my card. Leave me alone.
Can I have your card too?
No. After what she ordered, it's max, dude.
Well, I mean, you gave her carte blanche, so you had to know what you were getting into.
Yeah, kind of. I still got a little limit, it's not like I got, the gold vault in the back,
Wait, you're not printing money?
No.
What are you doing out there?
Funny,
You don't have the Grubhub Platinum card?
No, we even before all this shit, we cook at home and, everything's fresh just because, my wife can't eat that stuff anyway. And it's so saturated around here because I live near a mall. It's just too much. I don't want to eat that, So I got stoned and maybe see a commercial or two. I'll try that once and that's it. This is disgusting. Oh my God.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you a side story. That there is in my parking lot for the studio, because my studio is set in a commercial setting. When I say commercial setting, I mean an old rundown mini strip mall from the 70s. And I mean, Gary will tell you, it looks like 1973 blew up right in one spot.
It looks like it hasn't been touched since the 70s.
So right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool.
So in the parking lot, there is a liquor store, a deli, and then a primo hoagie spot, a really bad pizza place, and then a high-end Italian restaurant that also has a bar. So when people come over, they typically will either go to the bar or go to the liquor store and just basically buy the place out and get absolutely smashed on the couch. Bring their own supplies, green supplies, and I don't care. Roll it inside, but go smoke it out front. Do whatever you want. Yeah. And then, if it's late at night, Domino's is less than a mile away. So it's Domino's is constantly coming to the studio, dropping off absolutely terrible. Terrible for you, terrible for the bathroom food. It's just an absolute destruction at all times.
As a homeowner, and of course as a business owner, you should, definitely don't shit in my bathroom, man. Go home. I just paid $10,000 for that fucking new sewer system 2 years ago. Fuck that.
You know what? If I could send people home, I would, but most of the people are coming too far, and I don't want to be paying them for, shitty seats because I sent them home.
Yeah, but here's the real question. How far is the nearest White Castle?
Oh, it's far. It's far. At least 25 minutes.
That.
Yeah, you're safe. Deal with the Domino's then, if you had Taco Bell, I'm okay. But if you had Taco Bell and Domino's, then I'd be you got to charge more to back up that.
There's a toilet paper charge.
Well, Rich, there's a story because many years ago, my side band Mickey's crew went to record when Len had a studio in Patterson. Mm-hmm. And like 10:15 in the morning, we swerved across 3 lanes of traffic to pull into White Castle. And we stuffed ourselves and then went to record, and that studio smelled like
just hot ass.
Zombies. wet zombies sitting on a summer porch.
Well, because you guys didn't know.
Shit.
You guys didn't know that the bathroom that was 1 floor down was basically unusable.
Oh yeah.
Like it barely flushed.
If it wasn't unusable, it would have been.
I mean, everyone's toured, so like.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been in that rest stop in Iowa. Like, I'm going. I don't care. Like another 3 hours, I'm going.
See, but that's the thing. I don't know about Rich. Have you ever toured Europe?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because Europe, there's always that gamble that the toilet might just be a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
just firing away.
Like I will say that we got very lucky with that.
Yeah.
That I never had to face that dilemma, but I had always heard many stories from those before me.
Yeah, think about like Brendan and SFA, where like they played squats and shit.
Get it? They're lucky if they had the hole in the floor. They might have just pointed towards the bushes.
Yeah, I mean, I only been to Europe once, and that was for Grows Rock. So I was there for 3 days, and like the middle of farmland Belgium, and like we were like, oh, the Americans, and I'm like, I'll take it, I'll take it, like. So.
Oh, dude, when we played Yperfest, they had the pissers, and then they had a composting toilet, which is basically a porta potty filled with sawdust.
Perfect.
And it smelled like just.
I mean, I didn't get close enough to smell it, but I was like, oh, please don't let me have the shit.
But like 2 or 3 Jägermeisters, you're like, I'm going.
I gotta do it anyway.
That you're like, I'm doing it. So
I avoided that, thankfully, because man.
Like, this Jaeger's hitting. I got to get us out of here.
No, I would not have been able to do it.
I got 20 minutes. Let's look at 20 minutes to get back to the hospital. Let's do it.
That would have been the best choice. Because there was no way. My fat ass might not even fit in that fucking porta potty thing, whatever it was.
You know what? We're talking about all kinds of nonsense, but you know what? One of the most harrowing, you both know one of the most harrowing things in your mind is having to take a shit at Seabees.
Oh,
I mean, I did it once. I did it once, and I mean, I worked there. I got the premier shit. So like, I knew there was bathrooms in the gallery I can use, like over a certain amount of years. Like everyone was like, "What?" Like 2 years in, I'm like, they were like, "Yeah, you can shit next door," and I'm like, "What?" Like I'm going
the perks,
the poopy dance, like in front, like in the back door, like oh my god,
I'm not gonna make it home. I'm not gonna make it to the McDonald's around the corner. I'm not gonna make it anywhere.
It's 4:00. I got here at 2:00. There's 18 more bands. Like it's a Wendy Guillotine show. I'm like shit. Literally shit. So like, oh, you can shit next door. I'm like, what? Change the game. And then
no more fear.
No more. What fear? And then they installed a handicap bathroom, so they more leg room for your legs and shit. Mm-hmm. And like you and there was like it was beautiful music being serenaded by this like singer-songwriter like woman, and like all quiet.
And
you're in there just blowing it up,
dude. Kingdom Come style, like I work. I don't care,
Trying to fart along with it.
Yeah, just keep the 4/4s going. Like, oh, it's not working.
You're adding bass lines.
And it's all dark. It's all dark. You can just like put your hood up and just run out, or just go around the back, or like duck out of there. So.
Oh man.
Oh, the horror.
But like,
the horror.
and then like bands like, yo, Rich, I know you go next door, like hook me up, and I'm like, yo, let me get that LP, let me get that T-shirt, son. You know, like he's like, yeah, whatever you need. You know, they got 3 more weeks on the road. You know, they don't want to have a bad experience at Seabees and ruin it. You know? So, all right, cool. I got the color vinyl. Like here, like like walk him in. Like he's good. He can,
Because I just think about the times that I was either there playing or there watching a show, and the horror in my mind, headed just driving up the turnpike. Like, I really hope I don't have to shit while I'm here. There's literally
area.
Like, I would rather leave the show and walk 5 blocks to find a bathroom than to shame myself and sit on a toilet with no block or no divider and everybody just watch me shit. No, thank you.
One time, I took a cab home. I was like, I gotta go. Literally walked out to Bowery, and I was like, just before I worked there or whatever, just like, I gotta go. I had a couple of bucks. Take me to Woodhaven. Like, let's go. I know how long it takes. I can make it.
Yeah, I got lucky because I had those couple of years in the mid '90s where I was working a couple blocks away at Tower. So if I really had to, which luckily I never did, that I remember at least, but I was also very drunk. I don't recall having that issue, but if I did, I would have run over there.
You had the backup.
Ran upstairs and blasted. Which is crazy considering how much I used to drink.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I used to just drink 40s from across the street.
That's right.
And just, I was hammered before I even stepped in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
I love it.
Oh, hey, I guess we should do an intro or something here now that we got like 10 minutes of talking about shitting at CBGBs.
I can talk about it, so like I'm not afraid. So
you're listening to The Upgrade, the finest in feces discussion. I am Gary Muttley, and I am joined by
Len Carmichael,
lovely and talented Len Carmichael.
Yeah, that's me. What's going on? Hi, Gary.
Hi.
We have a guest today.
Yes.
An illustrious guest. Ooh. Actually, one of my favorite people to run into randomly in various different places across the planet.
Am I that guy?
You really are that guy. Like, I never plan to see Rich Hall, but when I see Rich Hall, I'm excited to see him. So everybody welcome Rich Hall to the show. He's already talked about his pooping next door to Seabees at the gallery. You've already heard this.
My privilege.
Yeah, he used his work privilege.
The perks. Work perks.
Everyone got a taste too. Everyone got a taste. Not everyone, but everyone like all right, cool. Like I like you. All right, cool. You gotta go. And people got greedy, and I'm like, all right, I gotta slow you down. You gotta go across the street, something, in the pizza place, something. I don't know, So
come on, son, let me hook you up,
son.
I mean, I'd have to qualify my running into you though. It's usually at a show of some sort. It's just that I never paid attention to who was running what show, and then I show up and it's your show. Because being that I'm from New Jersey, the idea around 1,000 Knives is, in my head, it's only Rich, but I wasn't really looking at every single flyer that said who was throwing the show. I was just looking at the bands and going, yeah, I'll go to that. Yeah, I'll go to that. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, hey, Rich. I'm like, oh, you're putting on this show?
Yeah.
So, it's good to have you here.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me. I'm excited. We're already having some good talk and having some good vibes together.
Oh,
some
man.
Good shitty vibes.
Good shitty vibes.
So, Len, did I ever tell you the story about how I met Rich Hall?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
This is not what you would expect, because it actually has nothing to do really with hardcore.
Finally.
Once upon a time, God, I don't even remember the year. It might have been 92.
Had to be 92. 93, maybe?
It was definitely either 92 or 93. 92 or 93, me and some friends of mine decided to play a Battle of the Bands. Good friend of mine by the name of Tom Clancy was a drummer, and he and I had jammed around a bunch, and we had a band. Well, we played 2 years, so it had to be 92 and 93, I guess, Rich.
Yeah.
And we played a Battle of the Bands at my friend Tom's high school, which was the High School of Art and Design in Manhattan.
Which is now Whole Foods.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This is 7 years. This is before I moved.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
I was coming home from Jersey with my girlfriend, now wife, Carrie, and I was like, oh, let's take the 59th Street Bridge. Let's go up this way. And I told her how to go. And I'm like, yeah, let's go see my old high school. I get up 57th, and I'm like, it's a Whole Foods.
God.
Sorry.
So for two years we played this Battle of the Bands, and who goes to high school with my friend Tom, but a young man by the name of Rich Hall.
I think I was still Richard, but yeah, Rich Hall, yeah. That was the start of it, maybe.
Side note, also in that high school, and also performing with his old band at the Battle of the Bands, was Henry from Inhuman.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting.
Who's in Tomb or whatever.
Yeah, who's in Silver Tomb now, and been in a few bands. Just random connections from way back when. And then, over the years, ran into Rich again at shows at Roseland, and then Rich was booked at CBGB's. And
how did you step into that, Rich? How did you end up booking at CBGB's? I've always wondered that.
Here's the origin. Here's the... So, I went to Warped Tour with my cousin in 95. Nassau College. And I basically, we basically were just like into all the bands, sick of it all, making fun of Sublime and, checking out the girls in Tilt, like just at Warped Tour. What else do you do, when you're 19 or whatever? And so this dude was just like handing out these flyers, and it was Tyler King from King Size Booking. He was doing those at CBGB's at the time. And I was like, and I was going to school. I was going to college at the time, and at School of Visual Arts, I was trying to be a comic book artist. Still can be. Yeah, Mom. Yeah. So then I asked him. I was like, "Hey, do you need help distributing these flyers?" And I was going to shows for like 2 years at that point ish, and he's like, "Yeah, no problem." And he gave me a stack, and I just started. Me and my cousin just started giving them to everyone that we saw, and like. Oh, I have one. Yeah, take it again. Whatever. And went right back to him. Hey, can we get some more? And he's like, wait, you just gave out all those flyers? I'm like, yeah, man, you just needed help. We just gave out all these flyers to people, And then he's like, yeah. I was like, hey, wait, come to the show. I'll hook you up. Okay. And then coincidentally. My buddy Will Tarrant, who was my next door neighbor for years, he ran a label called Chainsaw Safety Records. One day, I was reading Maximum Rock and Roll, and I'm like, that's next door to my parents' house. Like, what? Like in Woodhaven, Queens. And I'm like, Will, what's the deal with this? And he was like, yeah, man, check it out. Come downstairs. And he ran a distro, and he just gave me a stack of records. But so I was consuming hardcore at the time, so I would yeah, you need help? I don't care. Let's do this. So then, what's the show? So Tyler, he's like, oh, cool, here's some more. Oh, can I get? I actually asked for some more. I was like, hey, I go to school in the city. Give me some more. Whatever shows you get. It's like, you want to do this for me? I'm like, yeah. So I kept doing it for him for years. Well, not for for a couple weeks, and then he was just like, "Do you want to work at my show? Like, you're a big dude, and like you can." I'm like, oh, cool, no problem. So he lived in Queens as well, Tyler, and I would meet him at the J train and go into the city with him, and then work for him,
Right. And then it just kind of took from there.
It just took from there, I would be working non-Tyler shows and just this part of the security crew. And
once you're in, then
yeah. So Tyler left in '97 or late '97, I forget when. And I was doing shows on Long Island at that point. I got the bug. So Tyler hooked me up with Mark Lopez from More Noise Collective. And I was kind of learning the ropes, I was just Padawan, dealing with.
What venues were you doing in Long Island? What was it? Asia One
just opened.
Okay.
And then Mark would do Mr. Beery's, Dr. Shay's.
Oh, okay.
Ground Zero was open at the time. I forget where it was. Belmore? Forget. But Ground Zero was a venue.
Right.
But mainly at Deja, that was the spot.
Right.
So I was doing shows with Mark as well, working at Seabees for Tyler for, whatever. And then Tyler decided, I'm going to move on. I'm just moving out of New York. And okay, and then it was kind of quiet around that time, and then I asked Louise, I was like, can I book a show? And she's like, yeah, you can. Don't lose money because I'm not bailing you out. We don't bail out. It's straight up, you're an independent promoter, Tyler was, even though he worked here. All right. So I did my first show, March. Here
you go. Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. I mean, it was a pretty damn good show at today's standards, it'd be a fest, but yeah, and I was just like, I guess I can do this. And let's keep on doing this. And then I was the main promoter there for the time, other than the house. And then Brendan would do a lot of the stuff, and then Madball, Cro-Mags, and all that stuff would do their own shows. So they policed their own shows and did all that stuff. So I didn't worry about owing Freddie Madball $20,000. So
you're probably better off that way.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, and then it closed.
So at one point I begged you for shows constantly, and then finally you gave in and you let us play a show.
Love is Red.
All Out War. Yes.
Yeah.
It was on Easter.
Yeah.
And 30 people showed up. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That was rough, but it set the table because my last band that ended, we went out on the road with All Out War, and my friendship with Mike started at that show. So I would have never gotten to the point where we would have gone on the road with All Out War and Sworn Enemy had it not been for you booking my dumb old metalcore band on some show that unfortunately didn't do as well as it should have.
Well, I think that was the year I didn't want. I think that was the year I could book any show, I could book on any day, and it's just I did Easter and Super Bowl Sunday.
What were you thinking?
And that was Sworn Enemy, and they were I gotta bite the bullet. I gotta it. It did okay, but even Lorenzo was like, "What are you doing?" So come on,
Well, you live and you learn.
Yeah. So at that point,
I appreciate it though.
A lot because I was working a full-time job, and And I think I like moved out of my house and like living with a roommate. So like I was all grown up and paying my bills, and I'm like, I can't guarantee these bigger bands anymore.
Right.
Not even bigger bands, but like they wanted bigger guarantees. Like was that 2004?
Yeah, it was 4 because we were done by 5. So maybe it was 2003, 2004. I don't know, sometime around then.
It was 2004, yeah.
But you booked us a second time. You did book us a second time, and I don't remember even anything about the show other than the fact that we got a second fucking show at Seabees when we had no business playing there whatsoever in the first place.
So here's my thing, you know, and this was my like part of my booking, you know, like if a show like that bombs and I like the band and the people are cool, I'll give you a second show on a bigger show or whatever, you know, like it was just my rule of thumb, you know, like I had, you know, like some good bands play like a breather resist show. It only drew 20 people, but I brought the band back to you're going to play with I Hate God in a month. Is that cool? You know, I'm sorry, I can't pay you, but I got you the next time. So like I had to do it. It was just part of my booking, you know?
Hey, that's a great way to do it though, honestly. And I wish more promoters would do things along that line in general. I feel like, and you can tell me that I'm talking way out of turn here, but a lot of the problems with bands these days, outside of the fact of the internet kind of killing things in general, is the fact that promoters across the board, it doesn't matter what city you're talking about, don't give bands repeat chances. So if it fails the first time, they never get a second chance to make a better statement. And I think it kills a lot of bands.
Ever since I left, that's all I've heard about in New York City.
It's like that a lot. They want that first time to be a banger, and then if not, then forget it.
Right. Oh, you didn't bring X amount of people. Like I never did that. I never did tickets. I never did.
Yeah. What do you think of that? Like promoters that require you to sell tickets or, you know, have a specific amount of head count.
Why are you doing show? I mean, if you can't, it kind of, I'm flabbergasted by it because it's just like, you're basically covering your own ass with the package. Yeah. Screwing these little bands. Because that's all you're doing. You're gaining money to pay that guarantee off. So you're going to enlist 18 more bands and they have to sell 30 tickets at $10, $15, and then, you know, you do the math and that's the guarantee for the package.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I have I'm not currently doing any bands, but I have an absolute rule that if you ask me to sell tickets, you can kick rocks because I'm not doing it.
And here's the thing too, like I'm always against it, but I booked. Can I say the band?
Do whatever you want.
All right, I booked the band Vexed, and Tommy was like insistent about it, and I'm like, all right, dude.
About what? Having other bands sell tickets?
No, for him, his band.
He wanted to sell tickets himself?
He wanted to sell tickets for Vexed.
Okay.
And I was like, I trust you, dude. It's fine. It's okay. You don't have to prove it to me, you know?
Right.
He's like, no, bro, we're going to do this. It's the right way to do it. I'm like,
no, it's not the right fucking way to do it.
If he thinks so and okay, cool. And that's, would I book them again? I mean, would have I booked them again? Yeah, if they stayed together at that point. But, like, again, you know, like, I mean, it was a great show no matter what. I think those people would have came out anyway. And that's the thing, like, when those people, when 5-10 friends not come out to your band because you're playing with band, you know, like this band, you know, like, so it's, I don't know. If you don't trust bands to bring bands, don't book them. I don't know. You know, if you can't get the guarantee, if you can't have the guarantee, then don't do the show.
Then don't do the show. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I've never really been down with the whole ticket thing. I could say, you know, it's well known Billy Club only sold tickets ever for one venue. Yeah. And that Starland Ballroom, and that was because half their security staff, or more than half their security staff, was out there selling the tickets for us. Right. Because Martin used to work there at the time.
Right.
You know, and that was also, you know, those were a couple of big shows. We played with Madball and Suicidal. We played with E-Town a couple of times. But, you know, in general, you know, that was the exception. As a general rule, we've never done the ticket selling thing because just I'm not down with it. And once or twice we've played shows where we found out that bands are selling tickets, and we weren't really comfortable with that either. But it's like by the time we found out, it was already kind of too late.
Right.
But you know, whatever. I mean, I like to quote Walter. You're not Girl Scouts.
Shut up, old man. Just ride that train. Shut up. Not so station. Not so station, Walter. Lennox. It's 3-5, whatever the fuck the station is. Oh man, don't get me started on Walter. No.
Do you miss it? Do you miss not doing shows now that you? Because all right, let's set this table for the people who are listening. You now live on the West Coast.
Yes.
And you've been out there for what, 7 years now? 8 years?
8 years.
And clearly the focus is not doing 1000 Knives shows on any regular basis out there. So
when I lived in Seattle, I did do a few shows. Did a lot. I mean, there's other promoters out here. I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. You know, like, here comes Rich Hogg, move out the way. You know, like, you know, Lori Lefevre, who's a promoter out here for 31 years. I'm just not going to come roll on in like 1000 Knives on your left, move out the way. You know, like,
right.
It's not right. You know, she's a friend of my wife's. You know, like, she's a promoter. I don't know. That's her, like, that was her income. So I'm not going to fuck with that. It's fucked up, you know? So, like, and when I wanted to come out here, well, when we made the move, we didn't even know where we wanted to move to. We just decided wherever we got jobs, and it was after Colorado on the West Coast, then like would have taken it. It just happened to be Seattle at the time. But you know, when people call me like, "Hey, Rich, who's the promoter here?" Like, my agent doesn't know. It's just like, then I'll do the show. If you're asking me, and I know your agent, and we can just do the show, and I can get a venue, let's just do the show, you know?
Right.
And that's how it kind of was. And then I moved further south to Tacoma, and
you're in Tacoma now?
Correct.
Okay.
And, you know, like, we based our house buying or whatever, so I can focus on art. And we'll rewind right now. So like when we moved out here, like I just didn't feel like I wanted to do shows. I was kind of bitter. It was bittersweet still to see like, New York was still going on without me. Just didn't skip a beat. You know, it was like that kind of like Simpsons episode. They're like, okay, goodbye, and then they close the door and they're partying again. So like, I got bummed out for a little bit. I didn't buy any music. I didn't listen to any music. I was kind of hurt. It was like. But that was my own fault for like putting myself on a pedestal. Like, they're gonna miss me, and like
they can't do this without me.
They can't do this without me. Oh, they're doing this without me. They can't stand without me. Like, okay, right. You know. So like, and then like I kind of snapped out of it. I was just like, this is my life. Music was in my life way before doing shows, walking to the Seabees, and all that. So like, why? It doesn't have to be this way.
Why am I going to cry about it now?
Yeah, shut up, Rich. Wake the fuck up and let's just be yourself again.
Snap out of it, man. Snap out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, I will say that while you think that things went on without you, and they did, but it was different. Like,
oh, I know that.
The quality of the shows as a whole, when you're talking about the second layer, so you're not talking about booking at Roseland or some of the like really big spots, but like the actual hardcore and like pseudo metal bands that would come through that you would book. Mm-hmm. Finding those shows became a lot more arduous.
Well, that sucks because that's what I put out there so it can thrive. And if it didn't thrive, then that's...
Well, I think you got out at the right time, honestly, because I think, that time when you left, everything kind of changed because you lost a lot of venues in a pretty short amount of time, and it really changed the whole scene. And I mean, I've talked about it before because it's crazy to really think about it. Like almost all of the small venues, like I could probably count on one hand the number of smaller venues that I played in Manhattan that still exist.
It sucks.
Like the Pyramid Club and maybe like 2 other places, and all the other spots are gone. Whether it's Seabees or Coney Island High, the Continental, even though that place sucked because Trigger
definitely sucked, but
fucking cock.
Fuck that place.
It was still a venue to play.
But even other places like Rich, what was that place that you booked a couple of shows? Oh, the Cake Shop, was it?
Yeah.
Cake Shop was awesome.
Yeah. Like that place isn't there, but that place, Fontana's, like,
yeah,
there were so many other places that all bit the dust in a pretty short amount of time.
Rich, did you do the Hope Conspiracy kind of reunion type thing at the Cake Shop?
Yep.
That was one of my absolute favorite shows, and it was also 5 million degrees in there.
Yep. Sure was.
But I literally was having a conversation with Sonny about that show on yesterday. We were riding somewhere in Delaware, and we were just talking about that show in general and how much fun it was and how we wish it would happen again.
And that's what I try to that's why I still I could book Roseland. I could be working for Live Nation and put bands in bigger venues with a touch of a button, whatever, you know what I mean? But like the intimacy of like a Union Pool, a Cake Shop, that's a show.
Right.
So that's
that's an actual show.
Yeah, that's your experience going to a show.
That's a memory. You made a memory going to that show.
Seabees was that place where you walked in and anything could happen. Someone could walk. No, it's true.
You're not joking. Like, I'm just laughing at the nonsense that I've seen in there, and then also as well heard of because I wasn't there all the time.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one. So, Green Day, the drummer of Green Day shows up. Trey Cool, right? What's up, dude? Yeah, you want to come in and drink? Cool. We're open for another 2 hours. Cool, whatever. Comes back. Hey, you think we could play here? And I'm like, are you? So promoter Rich is like, ding, are you all here? Where are you? What do you need equipment wise? He's like, we'll just ask the band before us, mate. Like the last band, if we could just jump on their equipment, we don't care. Okay.
Hey guys, Green Day wants to use your gear.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Mike, the bassist, calls. Yeah, where is this place? I've never been here. And I'm like, how punk are you? 315 Bowery between first and second, and okay. And he's not going to show up. They're not going to do it. Shows up.
And you're like, well, I guess I'm fucking doing this then.
So Brendan's like, fuck yes. I'm like, we're doing this. And at that point of the club, we had a video system, cameras on the stage, pointing at the stage.
Oh, that was when you guys used to do live broadcasts and shit?
Yeah. Stream sometimes, and then they just started playing. And then, it's 2:30 in the morning on a Tuesday, and people walking by, not knowing what's going on. And you're like, oh, cool, Green Day cover band. I'm like, no, it's Green Day.
No, it's actually Green Day. The real deal.
Yeah, no, yeah. How much? Don't go in. Who cares? That's New York. And that kind of sucks if that's gone, You don't know.
I think it's completely gone. It's dead now.
Yeah.
That sucks because I lived on that. Just not my profession.
the closest you've got to that now in New York is St. Vitus.
Yeah.
And with the way the neighborhood is around there, the clock is ticking on that place.
Yeah.
And it's a cool place, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's just, once they're building, like, a new co-op across the street.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before the noise complaints are going to come, and then the lease is going to be up.
And the unsavory people out front are going to be a problem.
And then the constant complaints and the same shit that's been going on in New York for years.
Right.
That just kind of killed the whole nightlife.
I worked there when it opened, right? I did the door. I wasn't doing shows. My wife was moving in with me, so I needed I was going to fly out. We were going to drive back from Seattle. So I needed money, needed a job. I kind of had a bug out kind of situation, just a mental, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
With my parents, I had a hard reset, and I worked there, and sure enough, about 6 months in, oh, this guy moved around the corner and you're playing too late. And I'm like, Jesus. And so that building across the street wasn't there at all.
Right.
And then, I moved, I came back maybe a year and a half later or something like that. There was a building in front of that place. And it was like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, because once they start building that stuff, those people move in, they start complaining, and
time is ticking.
That's what's happened with the majority of Brooklyn over the past 10, 15 years, 20 years at this point anyway.
20 years at this point, yeah. And it happened in Seattle when we moved to Seattle. We lived in West Seattle, which was kind of like a cross between Bayside, Queens, and Williamsburg. Let's put it that way for East Coast people. So
that's an interesting mix.
Yeah, it was a cool place to live. I lived in the first house I lived in. Oh, this is cool. I can walk to the post office. I can go get a slice, not a good slice, but a slice. Just so I can get around. So I can get down to the city. But sure enough, by the time we left and wanted to buy a house, we were priced out, and so I'm like, man, I just left that. I thought this was going to be different out here. It's accelerated because of all the Amazon stuff.
Right.
Oh, is that the problem, Amazon?
That was, that's in its infancy, it was just oh my God, really, we just left this, and then
you can't get away from that anywhere. No. At this point. It's just a persistent problem.
Maybe Omaha, Nebraska, but who knows at this point? It could be, full of flying cars. I don't know.
I mean,
if they got
I haven't heard.
Going.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the Pyramid Club in a long time, but I'm sure that place is having the same problem.
They gotta be having problems.
Yeah, because with the way that neighborhood is, and I know they were building shit right across the street years ago, because I haven't been around there in a long time, but
yeah.
It's only a matter of time, because that whole neighborhood is like that.
Well, you go.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Even when I went to Seabees before we moved, it was all glass. Everything was glass. It was the John Varvatos store, and then everything was glass.
Yeah.
It's all right. I guess it's it's what it is.
Well, listen, Rich. I don't even I spent a lot of time in that neighborhood in the 90s into the 2000s between Tower, going to Seabees, going to Coney Island High. Yeah. I spent a ton of time in that neighborhood. I don't recognize a goddamn thing down there now. I walk through there and it's total strange neighborhood to me.
It sucks.
From St. Mark's over to Broadway, all the way over to Bowery, that was where I hung out and spent all of my time.
Yeah.
For a lot of my 20s, my teens into my 20s, and it's totally unrecognizable now.
So I turned 17 in late 93, and that was around the time I started coming up to the city for various things. And the change between, we'll call it 95 and 2005 in the city and alone, let alone since then, was huge, because it used to be super scary as a kid to come into a city, not know anybody, and not really know where you're going. And now, if I go to the city, I don't even give a fuck. There's nothing going on there that's scary at all.
Criminal. You're the criminal from Jersey, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I was growing up, and I bet Gary has the same experience, it's like my dad was like, never get off the train there. Like when I was like younger. Like I went to high school in the city, and he was like, never go down there. Don't go past 23rd Street at that point. And then I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm working on CBGBs. He's like, what?
He's what? What?
What? It's like, hey, Dad,
went that far down?
Yeah. What did I tell you? You know? And then it's like, hey, yeah, I'm moving to Williamsburg. He's like, what? You know? Or Greenpoint. Like, why? You know? So.
Yeah, the first time I told my mom that I had gone to CBGBs, she just looked at me and was like, how, what, why, when, where? Like, I got all of the questions in one sentence, because I think it was 94. I had just graduated from high school, and like, you know, I've been driving for a year, but to go to the city, I would always just take the train. And back then, round trip on the train, and this is a side note, but round trip on the train was $12 from Trenton to get to the city and back. It is now $34 to get to the city and back from Trenton, and that doesn't include parking. It was free to park, so I didn't have a parking cost. It was $12, no big deal. Now, like, when people are like, hey, come to the city and see the show, I'm like, fuck you, it's going to cost me $100 round trip just to get there, between parking, food, whatever, and I didn't even pay to get in the show, so this better be the best fucking show on the planet. But anyway, that was a side note.
Wait,
I told my
round trip for one day, $34.
Yeah, to ride the train in New York City and ride it back. It's $17 each way.
What the fuck? Chris fucked y'all.
Yeah, 100%.
See, this is what's crazy too, because back in those days, it's a little different now. Because now it's like, you know, I mean, I'm not even talking about COVID, but like now it's like you don't get as many people coming from outside.
Right.
But like, and Rich will back me up on this for sure. And Len, you know, coming from Jersey, I was coming down from the Bronx, and Rich was coming from Queens, but you had people coming to shows from Jersey, you had people coming from Long Island, you had all these different cliques of people rolling in and all meeting up at like the smaller shows like at Seabees or Coney, but also at the bigger shows like Roseland.
And causing havoc.
And yeah, well, you'd have a lot of people just chilling, but then yeah, you also had a lot of people causing havoc, and a lot of people also like not necessarily causing havoc, but just waiting for something to pop off.
Yeah.
Because God knows there's plenty of times when I was at Roseland and I'm just chilling, not even looking for trouble, and then shit pops off, and suddenly, like, oh my God, what was it? I think it was like White Zombie and Anthrax and White Zombie at Roseland. It was like involved in like 20 fights that night. Because like, okay, here's the Queens dudes, and all of a sudden they're beefing with somebody, so I'm jumping in on that. And then there's the dudes from the Bronx, and shit is popping off with them. And then like the dudes from Long Island that I know, and shit is popping off with them. And the dudes from Jersey that I know, like, and just madness all fucking night.
So Len, I saved Gary's life at a Roseland show.
Oh yeah?
Faith No More, Album of the Year tour.
I think that was the other way around, where I saved your life.
No. Let's get it. Let's not get it.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. No, I don't get yoked up to Roseland.
And I do.
It was something you got. So this is how I remembered it. Let's put it this way. So Faith No More is like my top number one band ever to see. Like, that's the number one band, you know? And, like, I'm freaking out. And, like, I always went to shows with my cousin. And, like, we got separated. And, like, oh, there's a cool kid with a Snapcase shirt. That's cool. And, like, having a great time. And then, like, there was, like, a little skirmish. And then I turned to my right. And there's Gary get, like, some dudes in his face. And I kind of, like, run in, like, yo, what's up? You know, like, I was just, like, all charged up. And, like, yo, what's up? And, like, kind of, like, guys like, fuck all you, and, like, left or something like that. It was you would get yoked up, but you were getting, you know, spin on it.
It was one of those situations that was about to get really bad. And all of a sudden, the way I remember it is I think Rich just got kind of caught up in the middle of it, and all of a sudden, randomly, I just happened to appear, and I'm like, oh, hey, Rich.
What's up? You know?
And then all of a sudden, like, everybody just kind of looked, and all of a sudden, things just stopped.
They were like, nah,
like,
not today.
Like, oh, I don't think we want this.
Yeah.
This was too hot for TV.
We don't want the smoke.
Yeah, we want this smoke. Yeah.
It was something like that. I do remember, but that was the way it was back then, because Roseland was just a giant ballroom with just a big open floor, and you know, I mean, it wasn't anything like a Slayer show.
Oh my God!
But you know, even for like Faith No More and like that was album of the year.
Yeah.
So that was Limp Bizkit opening. Ugh.
No, it was Steel Pole Bathtub, maybe.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
When maybe did they come back with Limp Bizkit, or was that King for a Day that had Limp Bizkit?
I'm sorry, it was the King. What's the Red album? King for a Day, right?
That's King for a Day.
Yeah, so that was that one.
Okay, yeah, so that was Steel Pole Bathtub. Then the next time they came around, album of the year was Limp Bizkit, which is one of the worst fucking sets I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
I just remember seeing them and thinking, who the fuck are these guys, and when are they getting the fuck off the stage?
I had to work for them. So, like,
wait, you had to work for who?
Limp Bizkit. Like, so I had a company. Yeah, I worked at a company called McGathy Promotions, and it was like college rock radio. And
I'm familiar with them.
So then, like, you know, $3 Bill Y'all came out, and I had to, like, you know, like, get this record spun to college stations, like metal college stations. I'm like, come on, dude, just do it. I'll get you a Lemmy, like, signed microphone or something. Just spin it once. Just, like, give me, like, an ad on it, you know?
Dude, I know it sucks. Just throw me a bone.
Exactly. Like, you know, like, I'll buy you dinner. Like, I'll just, like, you know, I have to
I'll suck your dick, man.
Like,
let me get these cheeseburgers.
Got some cheeseburgers. Man, I haven't seen it in so long, but I know that scene.
Yeah. I can't even imagine having to do work for that chode ass band. Like,
I work for Linkin Park. And
I find that to be less of a problem than working for basically a faker. Like, I don't feel like Linkin Park was like, while I don't like it in any stretch of the imagination, they weren't putting on an act. They were just who they were. I feel like Fred Durst is just a faker.
I can back that. Like, I mean, okay, it's whack, but it's like,
when you get to know people, when you get to know the people, you're like, oh, they're chodes, they're herds. You know what I mean? But again,
so is Linkin Park a bunch of chodes?
One or two of them.
Okay.
You know, the bosses. So, like, I worked at a company called Band Merch in 2004 to 2008, and it was just a merch company, and they did like My Chemical Romance and Linkin Park and stuff like that. It was the dad of Brad, the guitar player, with the headphones of Linkin Park.
Okay.
So, like, he hit it big doing merch for his son's band, and it just got bigger and bigger, and just needed more merch, and just made this company, and like all his friends' bands did merch, you know, were the merch, you know, items there. So it was cool. It was a cool job.
Smart guy.
But yeah, like I got to know Brad, and he was a cool dude, and he was always like super humble and like, yeah, man, thanks you, and like give the prayer symbol, like, hey, what's up, And then like everyone
prayer hands,
rock stars, praying hands, like, oh yeah, namaste, whatever, and like everyone else were like rock stars, like douchebag rock stars. So like,
that's one thing I just don't have time for at all.
Yeah,
and part of it is due to who I grew up around. Like, not that they were rock stars, but they were certainly music royalty in some aspects. And like, I meet these people who think they are rock stars. I'm like, yo, bro, you can't even hold a candle to like the people I've met. The fuck out of here. You're not special.
and that's the funny thing, because Seabees taught me how to present myself. Like, you're a representation of the club. Act like it. You're the host. This is my place. Come through. What do you need? Be nice to them. Like, I don't know. I just felt like desensitized to other rock stars. I was just like, all right, dude, whatever. I can just smell them out. Like.
So let me ask you this. You obviously accidentally booked Green Day on a whim, yes. on a passing chance.
Sure,
but
we'll put that in the ledger. Yeah, sure.
What is the biggest band you approached and won over to come be booked by you and play a show for you?
Who I duped over? The biggest?
Not duped. Convinced.
In Flames.
In Flames? Okay.
In Flames at Seabees. That was probably the biggest band I've booked there. And that was early on. That was like 99.
So that was on the Colony tour?
Yeah.
That's a fucking killer the record, so that's a great get for you.
It was In Flames, Nevermore, Douchebags.
I love Nevermore, but I have heard that they are kind of...
They're gods here. They're gods. They're like just like gods, and like can't speak up ill of them like in anyone else's presence. Fuck that. They're douchebags. I don't care that dude's dead. Whatever. Anyway. It was In Flames, Nevermore, Shadows Fall, and Burn It Down. And it was probably one of the biggest shows that I've done.
And your turnout was great, I would assume.
It was uncomfortable in there, like
wall to wall,
and they had the greatest time. Like In Flames had the greatest time, like it was great. It was like my first time kind of dealing with like a big agent with a guarantee and all that. So like it was definitely like one for the books. It is, but like I've approached, I don't probably.
You don't have to like divulge.
No, it's fine. I probably hit up Mastodon, like, they're my friends, and like, oh, let's play a secret show, and they're like, oh, we really can't. I'm like, come on, just like that kind of deal, kind of like the nudge, wink, wink. Let's just do this for fun.
You're gonna be in town anyway.
Right? Yeah, you're gonna be drinking at the bar anyway. So why not just step up stage, some songs, like. I don't know. I feel like they did pretty good,
That's funny too, because I was at a show one time that the Mastodon guys rolled through. It was when they did a couple of shows at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Right.
And I was working. I was bouncing. I was doing security. And
wait, you doing security? Oh.
Yeah, I know. Shocking, right?
Shocking.
They I forget if it was the Most Precious Blood show. It was one of the shows there, and like the Mastodon guys were just there chilling.
Mm-hmm.
And they had just played Castle Heights like a couple of weeks before.
Right.
So
they were like in town, like I feel like every other week. Yeah, we're just touring. We'll just have a couple of days off for chilling. All right, cool. Let's party.
Yeah, that was right before they broke, because they played Castle Heights, and it was a light crowd.
Right.
Like a year later, all of a sudden, like they were the buzz band.
Yeah, Remission came out and everyone was like, what the hell is this? It's like, man, I knew about this. What are you talking about?
I knew you were going to be huge.
I knew it. I felt it, you know? So,
yeah, you think that In Flames, you said, might have been the biggest show you booked?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, band-wise, but, like, the biggest, like, number-wise?
Yeah, like turnout. How about for turnout?
Turnout-wise.
No, fests don't count.
I know. Converge Cave-In, Most Precious Blood, Hope Conspiracy, Nora, and the National Acrobat. And
I was at that show.
650 people showed up at Seabees.
Well, I'm taking one back because, 649 and then Len Carmichael showed up at that show.
Yep. You're the cherry on top.
Yes.
That's just a little bit of a loaded show. Just a little.
So that's when Cave-In, I think it was right before Jupiter, and they were like courted by major labels, and I had a funny exchange at the front, because, we were light on security that day, and I didn't know that it was going to turn out like that, and I got there, and there were people there already around the corner, and I'm like, so I called my cousin was with me, and I called my boy Joe. I'm like, come down. I'm going to pay you $200 to do security. It's a big show. And like, so I had to work as well. And like, I was double dipping, promoting and working. And I'm at the front, and some girl comes up, and it's like, I'm on the Rolling Stone list. And I'm like, what Rolling Stone list?
Like, no.
This is news to me, or Spin or whatever magazine was hip back then. And like, she's like, I'm on this list. I'm like, well, they don't have a list here, and clearly have the list in my hand. And she's like, well, I want to talk to the promoter. And I'm like, well, I'm the promoter. And she's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, well, I'm the promoter. I don't have your list. It's $8. Like, come on, I will write your receipt. And you get your money back from your editor or whatever the hell. And she's like, fine. Like,
it was like you stepped on her dog.
Yeah, something. Like drawing blood from the stone. Like, sorry, I need this.
How dare you?
How dare you take $8 from my pockets?
How dare you? How dare you not have the hit parader list?
How you not? The Vogue list? Why is it not in your possession?
You've never heard of Rip magazine?
I wish it was Rip. It would be some cool dude who understand. Probably get paid to do his job and can afford to $8.
Sure.
So then I was like, I stamped her hand really like thick too. Like I made sure I did the ink on the pad, and I just like take that on. I'm like, enjoy the show. So yeah. So that was probably the biggest show I've done at Seabees. Refused at the Yak Round was pretty big. That was 300 people in a 150 person venue.
That's a little much.
Just
stack them too deep. It's fine.
Take a deep breath. Let's go. Come on. keep it going.
Suck it in, bitches. We're packing this one in.
Listen, you just get the guys with the pads like the Japanese subways.
Yeah.
Just push people in.
I'll be huge in Japan at that point,
Well, how many people were jammed in the cake shop for the Hope Conspiracy? Because I would argue that you were well over capacity that day.
It was unsafe in there, yeah.
It's a basement. There's only one way out, unless there was maybe a back exit that you could not possibly see.
No. We painted the door on there so people thought they were safe. So.
People just running into a fake door.
Yeah. Some Wile E. Coyote shit, some Roadrunner shit.
Oh, my God.
No, I think probably like 250, 275.
I would argue there was at least 350 in there.
Wow.
I got to look at my receipts. Maybe. I don't know.
Literally, it was funny. There were moments where I could not even get downstairs. It was so full that I couldn't physically get into the room.
Wow. I was only there once, and I definitely don't think that place fit 350.
It was tight.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've never really had a problem getting through a crowd, as you might imagine. But that day was definitely a struggle. But I did find my way to the stage at one point or 10.
I think the Bronx at Fontana's, downstairs at Fontana's, was 400, and then the lady screwed me on paying the bands. So then, because it was some CMJ loophole, I'm like, look, I've been doing it 15 years. I know about that loophole. Like, don't play it on me. Don't try to turn it on me because, you know, like. And she sucked. I hated that lady. But,
so let me ask you this: favorite venue in the city that you didn't work at to go to a show?
To go see a show?
Yeah,
Roseland, VIP.
VIP section with the popping bottles, baby.
Popping bottles, you know, like running the black card, you know.
Got the Cristal.
Rap video style, you know. I mean, I've been very lucky, you know, like to get that access. So like, I've enjoyed it, you know, and like I'm not gonna like not enjoy it, you know. But even when I didn't have it, like I still enjoy shows there because you can see the whole show. You can like find a little corner within the crowd at a good vantage point and kind of like enjoy it without being murdered by the mosh, you know, or you know, just like suffocated by an overcrowded like venue. So that's definitely when it was around. I also like the World. The
World Cafe.
Yeah. They had Morbid Angel, Motorhead, and Today's the Day. That show was great. I don't know. It was kind of weird. It looked like a laser tag room, but it was a show for a show. So
I mean, yeah, that was a pretty big
Indecision there.
Yeah.
One night.
Indecision with who?
I don't remember who else played. Honestly.
Was that the Cro-Mag show?
Yeah, it was Cro-Mag show.
Cro-Mag's Blood for Blood, I think it was.
Yeah, but see, the reason why I don't remember that is because I didn't actually become a Cro-Mags fan until like maybe the last 5 years. I know it's blasphemy, but I just wasn't into it, and I've never liked Blood for Blood at all. Zero.
You're in a safe space. You could have opinions, and we won't, you know, kill you and stuff. So
I'm with you on the Blood for Blood thing.
I just don't get it. Like I never got it. I'll never get it. And
I saw them a few times, and like just you know, don't hate it. Just never really did it for me.
Yeah.
For me, it's a little guilty pleasure. I get a little, you know, like a little grimy, a little, you know, like tough guy there, little China symbol, Yankee hack side. What's up, you know?
Speaking of Walter, earlier he sent me a fucking meme. He's like, "You're at the show, and you know everybody's circle pitting, and then all of a sudden the China hits."
Oh yeah, he sent me that too.
And you're like, "Oh no!
Oh no! It's coming!
Oh my coat!
Oh no, it's coming!" Well, I will say this, talking about the Roseland VIP section, it was always nice to be, because I used to get stuff up there sometimes when I was working at Tower and even when I was working at Labels later on.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I would be up there just chilling, and then if I wanted to go and do some dirt, then I would go downstairs.
I would just stay up there. I didn't care. I didn't even watch the show half the time.
So if I want to get a little workout, then I'd go downstairs.
Get your steps in, you know?
And make a mess.
Just steps in. I think my favorite show at the Roseland would probably not even be something that either of you were at. But I was there.
Try me.
And I saw the Boss Tones with H2O and the Pie Tasters.
I was there.
You were there. It was a great show. I had a great time.
That H2O shows back then. And then they wised up and they're like, oh, this actually sucks. This dude's lame, so.
Well, you know me. It's ska, so chances of me being there are pretty low.
You weren't there. And then the other show that I saw there, not more recently, but more recently than that I actually had a really good time at, the Descendants played there on one of their return units, and I just I had a great time. I think Suicide Machines opened, and
was it recent in the last 10 years?
I'm gonna say it was like 15 years ago, but for me that's recent. I'm old,
right? Because I did see the Descendants there recently when my wife's a huge Descendants fan, and like we had to go when she moved to New York. I'm like, really?
Well,
I want to go see Rosalie? Like, okay.
It's recently in that it's actually not that recent. It's before the roof came in and they had to replace the roof. So it was like a while back.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now.
But is where you're talking about? Roseland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked it up because I was wondering how long it's been. Roseland has been closed for 6 years now.
Sucks.
It's crazy.
And one of the best shows I've seen there was the My Bloody Valentine reunion. And it was the first night, and they yelled at you to put in earplugs. Like, you have to wear these. Like, there were signs all over everything. People checking on you. Do you have your earplugs?
Really?
Because we're going to be loud.
And, like, I'll put them in. I'm not going to argue. I've worked in clubs my whole life at that point, And then I felt like I was underwater in front of a jet engine. It was like the hair stood up on my arms. I'm like, oh my God. They broke all the stubs. They broke all the monitors. I think they brought in stuff just because, like, we're going to trash it anyway.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
But a whole
so was your shirt flapping in the wind? Because that's when I know it's loud in a club. Did you guys? Oh, I know, Muttley, you've been to. You were at the spot in New Jersey in Old Bridge. What's the name of that fucking club?
Birch Hill?
Yeah, Birch Hill.
Birch Hill.
Like, if you were standing anywhere near the pit or the first, like, front of the second tier section, like, it was so loud in there that you could just feel your shirt shaking, just going. And you're like, God damn, I'm never going to hear again. Today is the day.
Hate Breed and Converge, that was that show.
Yo, I was at that show.
And it was just like, oh my God, like
what was that? 98?
It was something. It was 98. Yeah, it was 98.
Yeah, I was definitely at that fucking show.
2001 because I had to actually go for work for that McGaffey Promotions. It was, and I did the.
Well, I was still there then anyway, even if it was 2001. It doesn't fucking matter. I was there.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it all blends together. So yeah,
possible to keep those dates together as you get older because I have to look everything up now. I'm like, what year was that? Oh, I don't know.
What'd you say?
Feel like Joe Biden all of a sudden.
Oh, God.
You little whippersnappers! I saw Pantera for the first time in 1991.
Is it weird for you, Rich, to like be basically 30 years deep into something like this and not really see any stopping point short of just the fact that COVID has us not doing things? Like, you've devoted over, almost 2/3 of your life at this point to just doing this. I
mean, I'm still ready to do more. Personally, like, I know my journey. I know what I'm doing what I love, and I want to do what I love again, but I don't want to get bitten by it where it becomes a job and it endangers my family. So, like, I'm thinking about doing it again and doing it the way I've always done it and just, like, low key and just doing enough of it so it's good. It's in my blood. I met my wife at a show. You know what I mean? Like, me and my wife got together because of the Unbroken show.
Which Unbroken show? The one with Indecision and Jesuit?
Yeah.
Yo, I had such a fucking good time at that show. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like, Indecision is we were talking about this, I think, maybe last week with John Wren. He's a dude from Philadelphia. You may or may not have met John over the years, but the question came up, how many, like, a band that you've seen X amount of times, how many times and I'm going to argue that I've seen Indecision like 45 or more times, just because they used to play like every weekend somewhere between Philadelphia and Connecticut. So I was at pretty much every show that I could get to, whether it was Tom or Artie singing. I was completely on board with this band. So then when they came back and they played that show for you, I'm like, well, it's what day was it? The 15th of
April 9th.
April 9th. Yeah, I knew it was like April or something like that, but I was like, whatever's going on that day, I'm going to that fucking show. I don't care what happens. I'm going to be at that show. And I was there.
And that's what I want to try to do, again, like, and now with the different generation, like, I want to bring my son, like, this is what I've done. Like, I want to bring him, this is hardcore. Like, we tried the last 2 times, just didn't work out with some, just financial reasons, or like family members dying last year. Like, I just want to like show him, like, this is just a good time. There's no bullshit here, like, I think that's what people want again, coming out of this. I want to have to go to like worry about a sold out show or whatever. I just want to go and have a good time again, like just erasing everything and just enjoying stuff. And that's what I tried to do with every show. There wasn't no competition. There wasn't. People just wanted to have a good time. They wanted to play for people and have a good time. So they just came to me for the right reason,
Right. So I actually wanted to get into that. One of the last times I've physically seen you in person was at This Is Hardcore, and like the first time I saw you there, I was surprised to see you working with Joe, just because it had never, at least to my knowledge, happened before. So I was surprised. I was just kind of blown away that you were there working in a good way. I was happy to see you there because, as I said earlier, I'm always happy to see Rich. So how did you get hooked up, like, working with Joe? Did he call you?
So when Hellfest canceled,
2005,
like, all the bands called me. Right. Like, literally all the bands called me. What are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm working right now. Like, I don't know. And then, like, Sean Agnew from Philly hit me up. And then, like, I was like, what do you want to do? Here's all these bands. Can I do a show with you? And I did a show with them at the church. And then, that led to the 108 Lifetime show at Starlight, which Joe was working. And, like, we just sat and ate pizza and just, like, hung out, and there was just hung out. And then, we just knew each other from shows or doing shows or whatever. And then, and a lot of bands, and we cover this in his podcast, but you got to listen to this podcast first, that there was just a lot of respect, like bands who were playing This Is Hardcore. And I never really went down there when I lived in New York. I just, like, I can't, I gotta have a weekend for myself. I'm all week doing shows, whatever, or I'm doing shows the weekend. And so it was just bands like, we're playing This Is Hardcore, but we're not announced. We want to play Brooklyn or something. And I'm like, okay. So I would hit up Joe, and I'd be like, Joe, like, I know you didn't announce this band. Is it cool that I can do the show? I'll wait till you announce or whatever. We'll talk it out, like. And he's like, yeah, it would be fine. It'd be no problem. And then once I moved, like, it was probably about 3 years, like, This Is Hardcore got bigger and bigger and bigger. And, like, it was so great. And then, Joe hit me up out of the blue in 2015, and he was like, I need Snappies. How do we do this? I'm like, all right.
Make a call.
Let me shoot you email. Like, I was emailing the agent right there with it, like, talking to him on the phone. I'm like, yeah, I put it in, He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, you just told me, you asked me, I just did it, like, they played. And he was like, what if like, look, you did a real big favor. That's the year Chokehold played and all that. Yep. Once you come out. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Fine. I'll be there.
Like, I didn't expect him to, I actually stayed with Sonny that weekend. Got to see Hate 56, behind the scenes in this part.
Hate 56 behind the scenes back then is totally different than Hate 56 behind the scenes now. Sonny has grown exponentially since then.
There's probably like 70 servers there. There's probably like 700 now or something.
Yeah, it takes out like I have a desk in this basement that I'm sitting in right now, and I think his server unit is bigger than my desk. It's like
my God.
It's insane.
He's got that space. So,
Yeah.
And then like Joe being Joe, and he like kept calling me, and he was like, "What do you think about this? Why don't we do this?" And he just needed that other promoter perspective.
He needed a trusted ear.
Consigliere.
Right.
So I was like, all right, here's what you're doing wrong. And like Joe kind of was taken aback, and I'm like, this is what you're doing wrong. And then like he kind of like did the math and kind of saw the writing on the wall, and he was like, do you want to help me do more? Can you get these bands? So I'm like, yeah, hold on. So.
And then 2 days later, here you go. Yeah. It's all done.
I mean, Disembodied and Martyr AD, man, that was a project.
Did you have to call Rick for that?
I didn't, but I told Rick I was calling the members. So like, let it come from me first, and then Rick, you deal what you need to do, and then he took it out of it. And it was just me and Rick, so like it worked out.
Right.
Yeah, and then again, it was like, well, if you're going to do this, I want to do the after shows, because in the past he did like 6 after shows for like bands who already played the fest and gave more money to the guarantee, and then one show maybe did better than the other. That I'm like, you're losing money, dude. Right. This is wrong. Like, don't do this. Just do one.
One solid after show.
Yeah, one solid after show at night, and keep it simple, stupid.
That's my theory on everything.
Yeah,
the more simple I can keep it, the better off it will go.
Exactly. So, of course, that wasn't good enough for me, but I had to make it better. And I kept it simple, but I had to make it better. So that first year in 2016, Refused was playing with the Deftones the same weekend. I'm
going to tell you, I spent a lot of time chasing things back and forth to try and get over to that Refused show, just in the hopes that Deftones would play.
I was talking with some old friends, and I missed my chance. You could have gotten
them to play.
I could have went backstage and talked to them. I didn't know they were in the building until Chino was there. I forget who was there.
Bass player was there.
Sergio. I know
Sergio was there.
I knew he was there, but Abe was there, and then Chino was there. So it could have, but I was enjoying I haven't seen my friends in a long time. So like, we got to chat and catching up. So that was more memorable than a Deftones show under my belt, I think. So, but
questionable for me. For me, I think the Deftones playing in a small venue again would have been more important to me than you having a conversation with somebody. Like, what do I care about your conversation? Doesn't seem very important to me.
Well, I'll take that in consideration this next opportunity that I do have. So, like, bestowed to be, okay? Sorry, Len. I apologize.
All right. I'll accept your apology now.
Listen,
it's 4 years
cool.
later.
It's cool to catch up with you, but I got to go handle some things for Len Carmichael.
Yeah, come on.
Sorry.
Let's be serious here.
Priority.
Sorry, you're my wife's best friend. I haven't seen you in 15 years. I'm not going to sit with you. Bye. I didn't pay your band that just played, so I'm going to bye-bye. Later. Again, like with the Refused thing, it was like, why don't we just give this a try? Let's throw this Hail Mary and see if it will work out. And it did, and like, luckily, it wasn't memorable as the first time I did it, but like it was pretty damn cool. A lot of people showed up that I didn't think, because like the show, it was Strife, No Escape, a couple other bands, and the turnout was decent, but the fest was still going on. Yep. So once Gorilla Biscuits went off, Refused was like, all right, let's do it. And then this wave of people came in, and then the guy's like, yeah, we're sold out. I'm like, just let people in. I don't care. Just please let people in.
Yeah, well, so I have, being the guy that does all the recording at the main show,
Yeah.
I have to wait until full breakdown has happened for me to be able to leave for the night. So like Sonny can run out of there pretty quick because he's just got to grab his cards and a couple things. But I've got mics to check. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff. So I literally got to the Refused show like they were 5 songs in already, and they didn't play much more after that. So I walked in and I was just like, damn it, I missed most of it. But you know, that's my only suck point of the after show is that like it just I almost never can make it. So you know, Turmoil did the after show, and I caught the last 3 songs.
Right. I'll tell you a little story about the first after show. So my wife's good friends with their manager before, or their not their current, but their former manager, and she kind of implemented it in his brain. Like she found out before everyone knew they were playing Coachella and stuff and whatever and da. And they were going to play New York shows or whatever. And she was like, you should do a secret show with Rich. And they were like, okay. I'm like,
sure, whatever.
So I was like, wait, what'd you say? What'd you get me into? Like, what? You know, like,
what did you sign me up for?
I'm like, all right, I can do this. And we got some little secret intel and stuff like that. And so I prepared. And I'm like, okay. I prepared. So the show was at the Akron, for people who are listening. One of my favorite venues in Brooklyn. It reminds me of CBGB's and how it grew into what it was.
Is that the all brick building inside the Akron?
No, that's across the street from that all brick building.
Oh, okay.
That's the Well, I think.
Yes, that's the Well. That's the one.
The Well or the Morgan?
I think there's like 7 venues.
I mean, there's a bunch of those brick buildings around that area, but the Morgan was all brick also.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hit up the Akron and I was like, look, this could happen. I'm not guaranteeing it. It's got to happen organically. This could happen. Can you hold the 3 days that they're in town, scheduled to play in New York City? Can you hold these 3 days? I want to try to get them to play a secret show. And Bill, the coolest dude ever, was like, yeah. And he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, well, I kind of need a backline, and then, this cool band at the time, Grudges, always practiced there anyway, So those dudes were like, yeah, they could play on our stuff. The 2 guitars, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they got the extra stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now it was a waiting game, right? And then, so we're at the show, me and my wife. And I guess the manager told them, like, do you want to do this? Oh, and then another thing was my buddy Josh, Hippie Josh from CBGB's, he had a van. And I'm like, you think you can just be outside of the venue of Terminal 5, and if this happens, can you drive all to Brooklyn? He's like, yeah, Refused is one of my favorite bands. I'll do whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of had the plan set in motion, right? We just had to have the band play. So we're all partying. The show was amazing at T5, and we're all backstage, and everyone's drinking champagne and getting like massages and shit. And the rumor is like buzzing. They're going to play this show. They're going to play this show. I didn't say this to anyone. I'm like, all right, whatever, I guess. Let's just roll with it. I'm not going to freak out over it. And so we're backstage hanging out, just like these dudes are like chilling, just nonchalant, after show. And I have the biggest stomach ache. Like this anxiety. My phone's blowing up. I'm on like 7%, and I'm like, oh my, like.
Did you get the bubbles? Did you get the bubble guts?
Dude, the bubble guts, man.
Oh.
Like, I'm gonna shit in VIP bathroom. I don't care. Fuck these Swedes. I'm gonna shit in their bathroom. So I got fed up. I was like, yo. Are we gonna play this fucking secret show? What? And they all looked up and smiled, and they're like, in their sweetest little Prince voices, like, Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. And like, big ass smiles. I'm like, are we doing this? And they were like, yes. I'm like, fucking finally. And I just let out the biggest fart. I'm like, oh my God. All right, let's do this. So they're all ready. They're all dressed, showered, and all this. You know, they got a whole team. They got a light guy. They got a sound guy. They got this guy, whatever, tour manager, techs, all this, right? And I'm like, we could, like, Josh, are you ready? He's like, yeah. Like, you pull around back. So we all get them down, and their fucking TM's flipping out. What the fuck? How am I supposed to get all this equipment here, there, and all this, and whatever? They freaking out. I'm like, shut up. Everyone shut up. Venue's ready. I got a back line. Just get your guitars. They were like, what? And I'm like, we're good to go. And I'm like, it's happening. And like, all 20 of us fit in this van on the way to the Akron from, and just like talking about this, like, oh, this, they were so psyched. They're just hardcore kids, you know? And as soon as I like walked out of the van, all I heard was like, yeah, of course, Rich was involved in this, you know? I'm like, fuck yes. So it's one of my little, like, you know, brush my shoulder off moments, but whatever.
I pulled some shit off moments.
Yeah, I did.
So, speaking of hippie Josh, can you see me? I can't see you. But
you got a Fat Week shirt?
No, I have my Seabees hoodie.
You got that at Hot Topic?
No, I did not. I mean, if I did, I would tell you. No, so I came to some show at Seabees, and Josh was up front, and I was wearing a hoodie from Old Navy. It was just some like random, like bright colored hoodie, and he's like, "Yo, bro, I really like your hoodie," and I was like, "Thanks," and he was like, "Can I have it?" And I was like, well, what are you going to give to me? And he takes his hoodie off, his Seabees hoodie. And he's like, trade. And I was like, bet. So I just took my hoodie off, gave it to him, and now I've had Josh's hoodie for like the last 18 years.
Dope. That is dope. I don't have any CBGB's merchandise in my possession, but one thing I can get when I need it. I gave my dad my CBGB security shirt.
Nice.
So, like, nice. One of the, and you know, like, I didn't wear any of that shit when I worked there. Everyone knew who I was. They knew I worked there. I'm like, why didn't you wear a shirt? And I worked in another merch company, and I had to sell that shit. I'm like, I'm sick of these fucking shirts. You know? Now I gotta sell these to some dick nozzle in fucking North Dakota. Like,
so. That has to be like the worst part of having been a part of that family, of just being in and around and working for and through Seabees, is to see all the jerk-offs that clearly have never even been there. Or if you show them a picture of the place, they don't even know what the fuck they're looking at. Yeah. So like you could show me a picture of the location right now in whatever condition it's in, and I'd be like, Seabees. Like, no question, no hesitation. And then, you know, you got these people, it's like people who wear, like, a Metallica shirt and they don't even know one song. It's the same thing.
I could just imagine what it's like for Rich, because having played there a bunch of times and having been there a million times, it drives me nuts to see people that obviously have never even stepped foot in the spot rocking all the gear.
Airport here and there, you know, not so, of course not so much out here, but like randomly some dude would wear it. I'm like, I probably stamped your hand. And he's like, I'll go up to him like, I probably stamped your hand at CBGB's. And you're like, what? And I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
Again,
you're like, I fucking hate you right now.
Yeah. Fucking poser.
I hope you paid $25 for that, or like 30 stupid money. But yeah, it's funny because like once it was gone, it was just where I lived pretty much. I got my mail at my parents' house. You know, like I was there like every day. If I wasn't doing a show, I was always working. You know, or I would just stop in,
right,
hang out. then it'll just turn into working, and like, oh, I guess I'm here for the rest of the night, you know, like. Yeah, I took it for granted. You know, like I think it hit me when I was asked to take down the awning on the last day, on the last night, as like, you know, after all said and done, you know, I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And I got up there and I started crying, and I was just like, I'm welling up thinking about it now. Yeah, it's just like, this is terrible, you know. And they had some fucking chode fucking stand-in dude, like, who we hired for extra security, just a body. I'll take it down. I'm like, all right, go ahead. And it's like, but I did like take it and I grabbed it and I started running as a joke. And like Brendan, who worked the door for many years before me and was my co-partner up front, he said, you should have kept running. And I'm like, should have.
Trust me, I wanted to.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think I could fit this in my mom's apartment, but all right. You know, maybe we'll figure it out. But yeah.
I'll try,
you know.
Yeah, I can only imagine how bittersweet it was to be there right at the end. I mean, clearly as a New Jersey dude, it was important to me, but it wasn't nearly as important to me as it would have been for you or you, Gary, for that matter. Like, it's a center for the arts.
What was fucked up for me was that by that point there were so many places that bit the dust in that, like I said, in a short frame of time, a whole bunch of places, you know, Wetlands, Coney, Seabees. It was all, you know, these were all places that were like church for me. Sunday, going to church, you know?
Yeah.
And all of those places all bit the dust, all, you know, fairly almost around the same time. And it was just fucked up. Like by the time it hit Seabees, I was just like, I don't want to say I was jaded, but like at that point I was just like, fuck, you know, just another one down the drain. Like I didn't work there like Rich did, but I had played there plenty of times, and
you've been there enough, you know.
Been there, you know. I mean, like I said, that whole area I used to hang around all the time. I used to go work at Tower, take my lunch break, go to the Bond Street Cafe, you know, leave Tower, go to Seabees, or go, you know.
Had ritual there, you know, like in that whole part.
Yeah, like that was my whole routine down there, all day and night.
Go to Generation. I would walk up, you know, have a route, you know, like
go to Generation, pass by Bleecker Bob's.
Yeah.
Walk around the other way, go to fucking Pluck You.
Yeah. Burritoville, San Loco over there, like Avenue A.
Yeah, you go in the other direction. There was all the stuff on Avenue A, hanging at the park, getting pizza across the street, going to Alcatraz when that was open.
Oh my God!
You know, like, but that was my life. So like, you know, I could just imagine what it was like being there at Seabees all the time, and then like, it's gone.
And like, so I was working on my first merch job during that time. So I had a job, you know what I mean? Like, see, I always worked at CB just because, you know, like, it's just a part of me, you know? I'm like, so when it was closed and I didn't have a job, you know, and like, what do I do? And I got depressed and I just started drinking real bad. You know, I didn't have nothing to do. And I'm usually the person, I always have to paint, always have to book a show. That's why I did so many shows. Is if I'm going to do this for real, I'm going to do it to the fullest capacity I can.
Right, you got to go all in on it.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to pay rent. You got to pay your bills. All in. This is going to be a.
Can I ask you a weird question?
Sure.
Do you worry about that now? Like, if you were to go in, like, are you afraid that you'll get sucked all the way into it?
No. Because I feel like I don't want to be brash or anything. I still have like my connections and my friendships. They're like, you know, some are gone because I don't do shows, you know, because that's all people care about, connections and ladder climbing. But my true friends, like, hey, dude, you want to play a show for me? Like, let's just keep it low key and like, I think at this point, people want to play every show they possibly can for whatever, So I don't want to take advantage of the situation post-COVID, whenever that's going to be. But I think it's something to get your mind back into, like, this is what I love. I'm not going to take it for granted because it's all gone. Like, it's all gone right now, currently. Yes, I miss live shows. I'm fucking devastated. I can't go see my friends who around the country, come through, stop by the house, hang out for a day, or something. Come check out come check out my studio, like all this. It's just, it pains me. And I feel like going on post-COVID, people are going to we're going to play every fucking show. We're going to black flag it again. We're not going to be fucking 10
too cool
here, 10 days over there, kind of like we're just going to all right, we're going to go on a U.S. tour and we're going to try to play as much as possible. And I feel like agents are going to try to get that for the bands. And I still do, have friendships with agents. I don't bother them for shows, but I still we still talk about other stuff. They buy paintings from me and that's really cool of them. But I'm not going to use that to my advantage. Like, oh yeah, you bought,
Right.
So, but for me personally, I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it, which I've been doing it for a number of years. And if people don't want to do it, then I don't want to book them, so it's fine. So, and that's been my fucking creed the whole time. Like, if you don't want to play a show with me, I don't care. And 9 times out of 10, they're all going to come back and look for that show. Once they say no, like, oh yeah, that show, But yeah. So, that's my dog.
That's your TED Talk. You got it in.
So yeah, I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it, no matter what. And I've been doing the art thing the way I want to do it, and it's all mine, and it's going to be. And I got to do it for real because, again, I'm all into it, and I got to support my family. So
I want to pivot to that, actually. So,
sure.
Gary, see this picture?
Well, I did for a second until it got blurred.
Yeah, it's all blurry. There we go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Not too long ago, Rich made a offhand post about wanting to do, some art revolving around the child. And
I do remember seeing that post because I almost ended up making that move as well. But then some other things happened and I ended up going in a different direction.
I understand. No problem.
So,
still might happen though.
Someone near and dear to my heart is a big, big fan of the child. And when Rich said that he was doing some art, I felt like I could support Rich and I could do something cool for somebody important to me. And the two coincided so well that I just sent Rich an offhand message. I was like, yo, bro, are you going to actually do these? And if so, can I buy one? And I've been meaning to buy art from Rich for years. It comes up and then it goes away and comes up and goes away. But this was a situation where everything aligned perfectly, and I could not be happier with the product, and I cannot wait to actually give this as a gift. I just wish that Christmas would get here a little sooner.
I need to see the reaction of it.
I will be taking a video and sending it to you.
Because that's the favorite thing. I love to see where the people's people who have bought paintings from me, I like to see where they are in their house and how the light hits it. And it's like, oh, great, that's perfect. It's part of the art. You know what I mean? How it's represented. So I can't wait myself.
So what I want to know is, when did you start doing painting and art in general? Is this something you've always done since you were a kid, or is this something you picked up as an adult and you didn't even realize you were good at it till later? So, as I hope both of you are, I know Gary is, I'm a huge comic book fan. I always was, back in the day.
Well, I remember you said something about wanting to be a comic book artist at one point.
Yes. That'll get in. I'll dive into that. So, I don't know, just started doodling, I just started like being so immersed in the comics. I just wanted to draw, just give it a chance, see what it is. And kids doodle and draw and whatever. Some kids take, the right path, take the wrong path or whatever, with it. And this is my thing. I love comic books. I love superheroes and all this. And I just started to draw it at a young age, like 7.
Well, I know Len is not really a comic book guy, definitely not like I am.
Yeah.
So when you were younger and were starting to get into the idea of art, doing art, what were the comic books that you were getting into?
So Avengers, Fantastic Four, Batman. I didn't care I care now. But like it was just every comic, like what looks cool, like what's this? What caught my eye?
So you weren't just a Marvel guy or a DC guy.
Yeah, I was both companies, and then I got a little weird and like, oh wow, look, this is naked chick on this cover, like it blew my mind, like wow, this is like comic book, but like there's titties, like. So we'll put that in the middle of the stack so my parents don't see that one, So I was just like, and like, as a young child, I was into Star Wars heavily, and like it was that generation, and they started making action figures of superheroes from Secret Wars and superpowers, and I just like, I'm in, I'm in. And then, like,
were there any comic artists that you kind of looked up to or kind of influenced you early on?
John Byrne, long time. X-Men comic book artist and Fantastic Four comic artist.
Yeah, he was great. His run on both of those was fantastic.
Amazing.
Because that was when I started to get into X-Men also, and same thing for Fantastic Four.
Yep. It was just something about his art, just like how he drew the Thing, and just like his Wolverine is like iconic at this point. Yep. I just like this is my guy. I felt like he did a couple of like DC books as well, so I kind of like, and that's when I started getting like artists.
He did. He ended up working on Superman at one point. I know.
He did that Man of Steel limited series.
Yeah, that was kind of him because he wrote that also, I think, and he was kind of rewriting the origin of Superman.
There's a reboot. They were like 6 in the reboot at the time in '87, whatever. Yeah. But and then like I don't know, I just kept on drawing, kept on getting better, and all this, and then like junior high, I was still doing it and didn't do my schoolwork and didn't give a fuck, like. Was just drawing, in class and making my own comics. My cousin, who I keep mentioning, he, he's a writer and like started writing plots and stuff, and we would draw comics and like act out the comics for our GI Joes and figures and stuff, just like kind of make it like more fun. And then like when my parents were like, okay, he's gonna do this, it's like what. We're not going to send you to the Catholic school, and we're not sending you to Frank and Kay Lane, which was like the bad high school. Yep. By my house. They're like, oh,
that was your zone school.
That was my zone school.
Everybody's got a zone school, and if you don't get it right, you go to the zone school, which is hell.
Yeah, and like my sister went there, and she excelled, like. But like my parents didn't want that for me because I was a little guy, like I was a little guy at that point, and like
you weren't that little in high school.
But like I'm a mama's boy. I'm a little old time. I'm still a little guy, So like there was a high school, there was a couple of high schools in the city, that specialized in that kind of stuff, and I took the test for art and design. And I passed, and I got in, and then like. And I really got into comics, like, and that's when like the Image comics, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, like they were like the big names at the time. And
that was when they started to break out on their own and go from just working for Marvel, and all of a sudden that was when Image blew up because they all left, and we're like, we're gonna do our own thing.
Yeah. do it DIY, you know, like,
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite comics was The Pit, because you're just this big dude that killed everything. All right, I can relate. You know, I was listening to hardcore at the time, you know, a little bit, you know, like I was listening to music. Like, yeah, I get it. And then...
By the way, if anybody's listening to this and you're curious about it, I forget the name of it, but there's a good documentary about the creation of Image Comics on, I think, Amazon Prime.
Ooh, I think
yeah, if you haven't seen it, Rich, it's great because it's especially cool for people like us that live through it.
Right.
But, you know, for the younger people that don't know, like, the history of Image and how it came directly from a bunch of guys that were just like, fuck Marvel and let's do our own thing, and just jumped and took that leap. Like, now it seems like, you know, Image is the standard, but back then they took a big chance.
Oh my God.
And if you were a comic fan back then, you were just like, holy shit, I can't believe they're doing this. And then stuff came out and you were like, I can't believe this is doing well.
Oh yeah.
They wanted total control over their creations, and it just blew up, you know. And Image now is, everybody knows about Image, but when they made that move, it was jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, not many people know that Walking Dead was an Image comic. You know what I mean? So like,
I didn't even know that.
You'd be surprised what like they've put out, and you're like, oh really? I don't really. Oh wow, you know.
That, and a lot of people don't realize like the roots of Image. Like Todd McFarlane, yeah, everybody knows him doing Spawn, but Todd McFarlane, you know, was doing like the Hulk and especially Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
and was huge, and right at the height of his popularity, him and a bunch of other guys just met up and were like, you know what, you want to do this thing, and they did it.
Yeah, so that was. And like going to school during that, everyone wanted to be Jim Lee. Everyone, it was like, I kind of like. So here's my sleeper hit of those comics, Super Patriot by Dave Johnson. He was this robot dude that had like, it was just this amazing art. It was just like so like bold and like campy, and also coincidentally, that's when like the Bruce Timm Batman series was on TV. Watch it. Yeah, you know, make sure I got home before, because I didn't have a VCR like taping it, or there was no on demand back then, you know. So like, I would have to, like, time it right, like catch an episode, like, oh shit, here we go, you know. So like, and like that got me more into comics and like animation. Wanted to do that more. So then in high school, you know, like I was still going to like, and that's when I started to go to hardcore shows as well, and like. Orlando from Stillsuit was in a couple of my classes, so like he was like, "Yo, check out this tape." I'm like, "Cool." I'm going to the Village. You want to hang out in the Village? I'm like, "Yeah, cool." You know, like all this stuff just started kind of happening as well, like just being more in the New York City, and like then I started to cut class. I'm like, I'm going to hang out in the city, fuck the school, you know. And then everyone thinks I'm just like, you know, like good boy. I'm not. So like, so like at that point, you know, I'd be getting more into art and comics and honing my craft and stuff. And then college came around, and like, all right, this is the big deal. This is if you're gonna do it, you're all in. We're gonna help you out. My parents were like, if you want to do this, we got you back. You can do it. We know you can. I'm like, okay, cool. And it was just a disaster. Like school, like that school, like I loved it. I made so many good friends there, but they didn't really help you with your art. They only taught you how to be an artist. That's
a problem.
It was a problem because I would be like, at that point, I would be like, I was into like the DC Vertigo stuff, like Sandman and like Doom Patrol, like all that stuff. All that darker stuff, all the weird comics now. Like, there's a lot more independent companies coming out with stuff.
Right.
So I'll be like, oh, what's this? You know, and like, you can't do that. That's not a traditional, you know, way to do it. And I'm like, well, I want to do it this way, and kind of got poo-pooed on it, you know. But I did get taught a lot, you know, like by a lot of people from the old school, like Gene Cologne, man. Like he used to do like Tomb of Dracula back in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I think he did Daredevil. I forget what run he did, but like
I think he did do Daredevil at some point.
And he like, this is how you're supposed to look at stuff. And he showed us a video. We watched the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen at work,
which is a fucking great movie.
Yeah, and like, don't look at the movie. Look at the angles. Look at the perspectives. Look at everything else. And I had to watch the movie like 6 times, like on my own, to kind of like, I get it now. You know what I mean? And like, okay, I see what they're trying to do, but I still couldn't do my experimental. Like, I want to draw it this way. Like, well, no, that's not the typical 8 heads anatomy. And like, now I'm trying to do some Rob Liefeld shit with the smoke by the feet, but like, you know.
Yeah, Len, you're not a comic book guy. This dude, Rob Liefeld, he can't draw feet.
Okay.
So there are always rocks magically appearing,
or smoke
at people's feet, or smoke, or whatever. This is also a guy that sense of anatomy is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like the women that he draws, like for them to be in this position, their back would have to be broken.
Right. It was just ludicrous.
And the funniest thing is that one time somebody actually went to a convention and handed him a copy of the book How to Draw Comics.
Oh,
it was like, I think you read this. They got it on tape. It was so fucked up. But you know, his big claim to fame is that he created Deadpool. Mm-hmm. So now, you know, he's milking that for what it's worth. But his artwork is just
yeah.
Story's good, artwork's bad.
No, this is, you know, it was just another book that he was drawing.
I mean, I'm not an artist, but I'm not at all a fan.
Was never a fan. But But so at that point in college, you know, like that's when I started working at Seabees, and I kind of and this is my biggest regret. I didn't do comics while I was going to shows and doing shows and all that. I totally disavowed my art at that time. Like, I just headed into the music direction. Like, now, like, I'm working full time at CB's. I'm working with Tyler. I'm doing a show here and there, helping out. You know, a little input here and there. You know, so at that point, like, oh my God. Gary is showing a picture of Captain America.
Yeah,
it looks like
I had to share a picture of Rob Liefeld version of Captain America that is horrible.
I
mean, he doesn't even have titties. His body is just like 3 feet thick.
It's just wrong.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not an artist by any stretch, but I can tell that's wrong.
So ridiculous.
So going back, you know, like I had an offer at DC Comics to work at Vertigo. And but I didn't pursue it because like I was too into hardcore and working at Seabees, which I regret, which I could have done both and been okay with it, but I was, you know, I was just 20-year-old kid. Like, I like this better. You know what I mean? I don't know. Life happens that way. And you know who did get a job? Len, a New Jersey hero of everyone's, Mr. Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance. He was in my classes for like the first 2 years.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And like, he got the job at DC.
I got to tell you that I have no interest in that band.
I was just making. I was funning. I was making fun. You know.
Well, I'm no fun, Len. So you know, I have to chop that fun right the fuck down.
I got it. I felt it.
That guy is that whole band is just not something for me. If other people like it, good for them.
That's chill. You know. But you know,
I just don't get it.
I'm not a big fan, but I don't hate him. But I will say Umbrella Academy is pretty cool.
So yeah, that's pretty
for a a pretty straight up X-Men ripoff. It's pretty cool.
Wait, is that made by that guy?
Yep.
Yes, he wrote it. He wrote the comic book, and then they turned the comic book into the Netflix show.
Okay, so I have not. I've looked at that probably 6 times in the last 3 weeks. Like, what else am I going to watch? Because I think I've reached the end of Netflix. And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, do I really want to start this? It looks like something that I won't like.
It's fun. Just be fun, Len, and enjoy it without the kid and yourself, and just be fun.
It's cool. I enjoyed it. Although, I will say this. I did screw up on our recent episode talking about TV shows because I did not mention, and it relates to this conversation because it's a comic book thing, I did not mention my favorite current show, which was one of my favorite comic books of all time, which is The Boys.
Oh, my God.
So I need to watch The Boys? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I was posting about it, but I haven't watched anything.
Because it's so fucked up. Imagine the Justice League, but they're all perverts and drug addicts. But they keep a lid on it and keep their public face as, do-gooders. But meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're all like...
snorting and...
It's monsters.
Oh, it's crazy. And the comic book is way worse than the TV show could ever be, but the TV show is inching closer.
It's getting there. It's pretty getting close.
It's getting closer and closer.
Okay.
And, oh, boy. I didn't mention it when we were talking about TV a couple weeks ago, and that is a big mistake and a terrible omission because that show is fantastic.
And now you want to rectify it. I see.
I back it.
It definitely must be mentioned.
So I didn't do art for, let's say, I didn't do art up until 2008. 2008-ish. I was unemployed. I dabbled, did some stuff, got some art supplies, just did what I wanted. I lived above a tattoo shop, so I had a little bit of an inspiration, kind of every day. Three Kings Tattoo. What's up? 572 Manhattan Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11222.
Get your plugs in.
Gotta get my boys in, So I just started to do it more. I had more time. I was doing shows. That was my business during the day, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever, And then if I didn't have a show, I would just paint, do some little paintings so that I still lived in a railroad apartment in Brooklyn, I'm and then once Carrie came into my wife, kind of pursued a little bit bigger. We had a bigger place, bigger studio, but still bigger than my apartment. And then once we moved out here, we had a big discussion. She was like, what do you want to do? I know you don't want to do shows anymore. You're kind of burnt out, whatever. What do you want to do with your life? I don't know. Let's try to get into sports. I like sports. I like baseball. I like somewhat football. I don't like the Giants this year, but I do like the Giants. And it just happened where I just did one thing for a friend and it just popped online. I just I'll post it on Instagram. And then people were like, oh my God, and her work wife, Jenny, was like, can you paint my dog? And I'm like, yeah, I can paint your dog. Sure.
Yeah, I can paint a dog.
Fuck yeah, I can paint a dog. Fuck that dog, And then
dogs ain't shit. Knock that out.
I had to pay rent, So people pay me, do pet portraits and stuff. I'm like, okay. And Christmas was okay for the first year, and Carrie worked at a box making company, and she made all my mailers and stuff. So it was perfect. So, and then it just blew up. And I was working before we bought this house, and I converted our garage into our studio. That I was working in a 1-bedroom, just doing little paintings and just having the best time of my life. And I went all in, with it, and then I had the time and I was making money, I was paying rent, and okay, this is cool, we're chilling, we're not, money bags or whatever, but we live a comfortable life. And during the COVID thing, when it first started, and everyone was in fuck it mode, and I had time where, because Carrie was working from home, like people were like, I'm just gonna buy a painting because I'm gonna be in my house. Why not look at something on the wall all day, that I like?
Right.
And then still get, and then once July hit and the extra bump for everyone who is unemployed or whatever, or still just getting it, it just stopped. And I was like, look, I told my wife, like, look, it's going to be bad, on my side. Like, is it okay? I feel like, should I get a job? And like, she's like, just
stick it out.
Just stick it out. You still got to watch your son. Just do what you can whenever. And like, it's been okay, like, and I try to like, I understand people want to buy painting. Things come up. They're like currently unemployed. They have to take care of a loved one on top of their own needs and stuff. And like, they're doing the best they can. Like, so I'm just like, dude, don't worry about it. It'll be there. Maybe, but if anything, like, I can paint it again. It's just a painting. It's not like this Rembrandt. It's going to go up in the museum in Switzerland and like,
it is a fucking Rembrandt. Still, don't sell yourself short here, bud.
It's not a Rembrandt, it's a Rich Hall. So that's the thing, But again, you know what I mean? I don't want people to stress out about it, So like, right. Sometimes, I'll give it back. So yeah, like, and art is definitely helping with my anxiety as well during all this, because as you East Coasters know, it hit out here first, and like, we didn't. So my wife works for a larger company. I don't want to say the name because then I'll get some conspiracy theories thrown at me that I don't want to hear. She knew ahead of time, like, okay, I'm going to be working from home indefinitely, and this was like 6 days in of her working from home, and like where people still didn't know on the East Coast, right? So like, okay, I'm just gonna go out there when I can and paint and just paint and just get it out of my mind, because I still have a 2-year-old at home, and I just want to make it okay for him. I don't like, and we've been doing good. We're sailing on as much as we can, So like,
so has the painting business been somewhat steady, considering the fact that people are somewhat out of work across the nation? Like, who are your typical people who would reach out and purchase from you? Like, not naming names, but is it like mainly people in hardcore, or are you getting people like from outside the box at this point?
Well, I'm getting friends of friends, people like post on their Facebook, look, Rich painted my dog, one of their friends is like, hey, can you paint mine? I'm like, sure can, and they'll contact me. And then, if it's not something Star Wars, comic, or pop culture related, it's either one of my abstracts I'm painting right now, or I just got done with this snake. So one of my friends from Texas was like, hey, I love your work. You could do this. I'm like, yeah, sure can. Like, okay. And it was like perfect, and like, like, I try to help, especially the crowd that I'm normally attracted to. Like, I understand, like, people have bills, people are bartenders, good nights, bad nights, whatever else, touring musicians, whatever, so like, I try to keep my prices like economically for everyone. Like, if you can't do that, I could do it smaller, something in your price range, like, I work with my friends because I've always worked with my friends and they always worked with me. So I'm not going to try to like, oh, it's going to be $7,000 for this 5x7 painting, ha ha ha.
I'm rich, bitch.
Yeah, ha ha. Yeah, I'm Van Gogh, motherfucker, so, you don't know what bands I booked, like, ha ha. So I just, again, I think it's just part of my nature. Just like, I just try to like make it work for everyone, and if I can't get it, and like, yeah, someone, and I have collectors, so people who have numerous paintings of mine, and I'm super blessed that they can, keep that going, for me, and which is amazing, and some people who had to drop off because of other responsibilities, and I'm like, that's fine, man. Don't worry about it. I'm not mad. And they'll hit me up like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't bought them painting in 6 months, and I'm like, I'm not stressing about it. You are, you know.
Right.
So it's fine. So, but
well, that's good to hear. Like you guys are making it work, because just in general, you know, Gary and I've had the conversation of just how bad COVID has really put a crunch.
Oh yeah.
On people in general, and you know,
and the stuff goes away, and it's you gotta go to the screws, man.
And listen, we know, because of where we come from in our music backgrounds, we know a lot of the same people, and a lot of those people, there's no touring, there's no venues, like so many people that we know that would normally be out on the road for the whole fucking summer.
Spent the summer at home.
Are sitting at home with no income.
Yeah.
Zero. And some of them have, you know, a side hustle like you do with the painting, or like my friend Brian does with photography and selling prints and stuff like that. But
Diaz, right? Yeah,
Brian Diaz.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's other people that don't have a side hustle, and they're in deep shit.
And you know what? And like, you know, Tacoma is like a small community, but it's a big city. And like, we definitely support our friends who own businesses, restaurants, all that. So whatever is coming in, it's going right back out.
Yeah.
And, you know, funny you mentioned like Diaz. It's like, yeah, you just made this book. You're out of work. Yeah, I bought it for you because I sold a painting, so I can do that. I can turn it right back to someone that needs it. So like, that's what the hardcore or music community does, and I'm glad that I know. Not glad, but I'm definitely blessed that I know a lot of people that can do that, or you know, or I can give back to someone. You know.
Yeah, I bought a photo print from him, and I'm planning on buying some more. I'm just, you know, kind of waiting because of financial concerns, let's say.
Right.
You know, but if I have the all clear, you know, painting from you, print from him, like, you know, I would love to take some money and support the guys that I know that are out there hustling, doing what they can, because shit's all messed up right now.
It's messed up. We're all in this together. You know what I mean? We're all in this together, and we've always been in together. And it's like left, right, middle, down the block, to the left, you know, whatever. Like, we've always been in the situation. It's the monsters on TV and the fear that we're being fed that's telling us otherwise. And I don't let that happen. I don't want that to happen. And our community, or the hardcore community, whatever else, which I was raised in, was always there for me. When my dog died 7 years ago, and like the cool thing was do a good GoFundMe, because it was definitely the wrong time that, you know, like we had to pay out.
Right.
And like, I was like, look, I just can't take hundreds of dollars from my friends who tour, who do shows like me, who, you know, bartend, whatever, you know, like I have to give back. So I was like, look, if you donate more than $100, I'm going to paint your pet, and it's going to be no argument because I feel bad, you know, and I don't ask for help. And that was the one time I did because it was really bad, and my boy was dead, you know, like it really.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, coming up in the scene that we came up in, that's what people always did. God knows how many, you know, how many benefit shows I've played or Len has played, you know, or stuff like that.
I am all about playing benefit shows. If you tell me it's a benefit show and it's for anything other than like, yo, bro, I broke my bong and I need a bong. Like, you know, like if there's something like real behind it, I will never argue about playing a benefit show. I don't want any money to show up. I'm just going to show up and play, and hopefully we'll draw some kids, and it will help you.
And it's always been in the scene. You know, we've always been real to each other, and that's why we're friends, and like we can talk like straight up to each other because we're all in this together, and it's real. You know what I mean? If someone goes down, like that's the thing. Like someone goes down in the pit, you pick them up. So like if someone goes down in their luck and you're seen, you pick them up. And it's just second nature. You know, it's nothing.
It's what you do.
You know, like me and my wife. You know, like this happened to our friend. Yeah, no question. Yeah, we'll go out with. We'll go without buying something for ourselves, you know, this week or whatever. We just know, you know, like, or whatever, you know what I mean? Not like it's a bit, but again, you know, it's just one of those things like we understand, like, of course, you know.
Yeah,
that's our family.
I've booked benefit shows, you know. I've had friends pass away and book a benefit show, you know, for their family.
Yeah.
That's Little Greg. I mean, I didn't book that show, but back when Milton from Go to Memphis died, back in 2004, you know, for a couple of years, we did an annual show that was all, you know, to go to his wife and daughter, and you know, and that's just what we did. Like I booked the first one. Actually, I think I booked a couple of them, but. You know, it was never a question. It was never like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, as soon as we found out.
First reaction, we got to do it.
It's just, okay, calls get made. This is what we want to do. This is how we're doing it. Make sure that the money gets in the right hands. And that's how we do, like, without even really thinking about it. Because that's how we roll. Because that's how we were brought up in this scene, you know?
And like I went and traded for $1 million. I don't think the way with school, like looking back, like I would never have learned these lessons. Right. Yeah, I learned lessons in the comic industry. It's probably worse than the music industry, but like, you know, I'm in control here. You know what I mean? I'm in control. These are my paintings. I know what it's worth. I know my friend. I want to give my friend a discount. You know what I mean? Like my wife understands, like, no question, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna donate a painting for a friend's fundraiser coming up. She's like, yeah, of course, like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? So like, why wouldn't you? You know, like, stupid if you're not. I can't give them like a couple of bucks, but like I can definitely throw a painting together so it can be auctioned off, you know?
Right. So, and like what it comes down to is it's just your time at that point and a little bit of supplies, and it's worth the effort to show the support.
And again, like, you know, seeing that special someone in your life, Len's reaction, that's worth 10 times as much as, you know, getting paid for it. Sometimes, you know, like, you know, like I've done Christmas gifts. I've been doing positive Christmas gifts. No one's asked for it. I'll sneak and lurk and on their Instagram, do a little pep portrait for them just because they needed a smile. Yeah, they lost their dog. They're pouring all their money into it. They have no money to buy a pet portrait. I'll bless them with one because they blessed me of being a good friend. So why not, you know? So, I mean, and again, it goes back to the shows. It's like, yeah, this show didn't work out, but I like your band. You're playing another show. It's got to be the right one. And then it comes, you know what I mean?
So that it all makes sense.
Yeah. So, and that's what I try to do in life with anything I've done, you know? So like, I just try to keep it positive, you know, my own way without the PMA and the fucking rah-rah cheerleader bullshit, you know? I don't know. I think being a New Yorker and like being in the hardcore scene, just like, and living out here and just like, fuck all these people, dude. Like straight up 1000%. Like I got my plot, whatever's in that gate, it's protected. I'm protected, you know, like
for you moving out there to the West Coast in general, was it like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Transition?
Wait, say that again?
Transition?
Yeah, a really bad transition for that matter.
Culture shock?
Yeah, culture shock. That's the word I was looking for.
No, because like I've always visited out here and I love it out here. You know what I mean? It's such a difference in weather and like geography, and like 20 minutes like to the east you're in the woods, you know, where it's like an hour and a half in New York, you have to go upstate and like it's a whole big thing. You know, like I can go to the woods on a Saturday and come right back home. You know, and like not make it a day. It could be like half a day for us.
Right.
I think like, you know, in 2010 I came out here for a week, and that was the first like quote unquote vacation I gave myself, you know, in the middle of doing shows, and I was like, I'm staying out here 3 more days, you know? You know, like fuck it all. You know?
It's too nice. I'm not leaving.
Exactly, you know, and then like, you know, my wife from being here and like all the friends we've known as well, you know, like over the years from touring and, you know, whatever, the transition wasn't weird. The only weird transition and culture shock was, so there's the buffer zone, the New York buffer zone. So like you're down Fifth Avenue, pre-COVID, jam-packed, no matter what time of day it is, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, right? You got that 1,000-person buffer.
Yeah.
So listen. So like, there's a mugging down the block, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really notice it because you're like, either I need to get home, I need to do what I need to do, or, you know, you're just like, you just go the other way. So this is mugging, right? And it just gets mixed with the city, right? So there was a mugging in West Seattle where I live, and it was on the news. It was just like, my mom called, and I'm like, what are you calling for? You know, like, well, I heard on the news there was this thing, and I'm like, it was nothing. You know, I'm like, really? Like, it reached all the way out to New York. You know, like it was nothing. You know, well, for me being a New Yorker, yeah, whatever, static.
Yeah, you just blow it right off. Like,
just like walk over the body. Okay,
been there, seen that.
You know? Yeah, you know, I got this meeting to go to. I don't care. You know, so, you know, like there's homeless and crazy people out here, but there's no 1,000-person buffer at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So like, shit, I gotta really deal with these people, you know, like, you know, I'm a big dude, like tattooed, like head to toe, but still, like, these dudes are fucked up in the head, you know, a little extra fucked up. So like that was the only weird thing, but like transition wise, you know, I knew people, and we know, Carrie's been here all her life, so I know people for 20 plus years who live here. You know, my best friend's like 3 miles away, Dave from the band Narrows. So like, yeah, and like even like coming even down to Tacoma where I didn't really know anyone, I kind of like got in with the right people at the right time and kind of like, hey, this is, you know, hey, I'm just a dude, let's hang out, let's smoke weed and let's paint, or like let's do whatever, you know, let's go to the show. So, and it was like, all right, cool. So, but again, I've used my East Coast mentality of my work ethic to this like West Coast vibe, and you're like, man, oh my god, this is so crazy, you do work so much and all this, and I'm like, this is Tuesday, man, like, well, I gotta
I'm Tuesday. Just trying to keep it together, bro.
Yeah, right, totally, dude, like this is normal output, you know.
This is a slow day, pal.
Yeah, this is a slow day, but so yeah, so like the transition hasn't been real, like been all right, you know. It was an easy transition, surprisingly, you know. Like, yeah, I miss my family, like the holidays were like rough, but you know, that first one was rough, and I think it was rough because my aunt died that December of when we moved here, and like it was right around New Year's, and I couldn't get back home, and like the flights were like $1,600, and you hit refresh
and expensive.
You hit refresh and it's $2,700 now. Like, I just refreshed it. You know what happened? You know, and that's the only excuse me. That's the only terrible thing that made me regret. You know, oh my god, I gotta move back, and I'm like, no, I've moved back from like I've done so many last shows and like moved back to so many other places where I was going. So like I gotta stick it out, and you know, luckily like I have a great, you know, friend base, you know, an older friend base out here that it's my family now, you know. Right. And they've always been my family, you know what I mean? So like, it's just grown because like they know more people out here too. So it's like, oh, what's up? And like maybe we got along better than like my original friend, but still, it's good to have more people, more friends, and more familiar faces around. So I still get I still get a Rich Hall here and there once if we're out and about, you know. So yeah. So I love it out here. Like I have space. I live in a house. I have like.
See, that's the key part is living in a house. Like, you got your own shit.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things, and I love New Jersey and Long Island, but I just didn't want to live out there. I don't know why. I kind of felt like as a New Yorker, it was just like, if you're going to go. You know, don't half-ass it. You know, you're all in. You know, like, all right. And then we just kept going. You know, like.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
I'm sure one of the things, because I hear this from a lot of people that move out, and now COVID has really exposed it more than anything, is you don't have to worry about everybody being on top of each other anymore, right?
Right. I mean, out here there's a lot. I mean, like my block. You know, I mean, we're definitely a suburban block. But, like, we're really not on top. I mean, in New York, yeah, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We've just had some friends who lived in Brooklyn just moved back out here just because they couldn't deal with it. They had 2 kids. They had a nanny, like, in a 3rd floor walk-up in middle of Greenpoint. Like, I think I would have gone. I would have bounced. But I would probably bounce to upstate New York or something like Beacon or something. But, like, still be relatively close, but... not make like I'm out of here. I got to go somewhere because it's all over. It's like you can't.
Yeah, you're not getting away from that.
Yeah,
get away from it. You know, you can. But being cooped up in an apartment, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it. I think I would have probably. Not that I'm soft or whatever. Just like you have years and years and years living like that, you just break.
You just break out.
Yeah, and then if someone who's not from New York, let's say like Ohio is some bullshit, they're like, I can't do this anymore, you know, it's all right. You knew you couldn't hack
it. Fuck out, go.
I've seen enough of those.
Oh my God, I've lived among all, you know, so, but again, you know, you just got to make, I think, and it also brings back to the shows and stuff, like, I think I was just, you know, you said I got out at the right time, and I felt like I did get out at the right time, but I think it was time. You know, it was time because I love doing shows. I love being with my friends, but I don't see myself doing like a 7th I Hate God show in 3 months. You know what I mean? Right. Like it kind of got. Not that like the scene got stale. I think it was just getting to that point where it was just like.
I think, and I started to say it before, that around that time, just the whole city changed.
Right.
You know, because, you know, and yeah, there's a lot of guys that are like, oh, I miss the old New York. But, like, New York really lost something. And I think that loss started around that time.
Yeah.
And it's just... You know, and it wasn't just the venues. It wasn't just like you can't point to just any one thing, but just so much of the culture changed around that time.
Totally did because like I moved to Greenpoint around 2003, 4, something like that, and it was like, what the hell are you doing out there? You know. And then 2 years, 3 years in, it's just like, this is the hot spot. And I'm like, well, I'm paying the same rent. You're paying 3 times as much as I am. So you lost, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah. Until your lease would come up.
Right.
Then
my landlord, man, hooked it up because I was like basically the super of the apartment somehow. So he hooked it up. So, but anyway, nice. Like, it was... I don't know. I think I stopped drinking, you know, so that was boring, you know. it was just the nightlife, you know, like, oh, here's those here's everyone drunk again. Like, it got boring.
Yeah.
I wanted to, like, do more shows. It was other people thought it was competitive, and I'm like, you can lose all the money you want to. I'm not, you know? So, like, have fun with that, you know? People wanted different things in music, I guess. I don't know. It was just, I just did what I wanted to do, and I did pretty good, you know? I still do good doing what I want. So, like, but I do it smart. I don't do it recklessly. If I did it recklessly, I would have probably been out of New York a long time, way before that, you know? So, yeah, out here was more of the same. And I'm like, this is fucked up. I just left this, you know, with Amazon, and everything was like, had cranes, like the whole downtown Seattle was just like getting bulldozed and like going up. And I'm like, what? You know, like,
God damn it, I'm just trying to get away from this.
Exactly. I just want to live here, you know, like, I just want to go to the art store, you know, like, geez. So we dialed it back down to Tacoma, and like, I'm chilling. We're chilling. We're doing good. You know, we're enjoying our life. You know, we have a great space for everyone, especially for my son to grow up in. I never had it. I lived in apartments my whole life. Like I said, like in 2012, moving out here was the first time I lived in a house, you know? So like, how crazy is that when you're 36? And you're like, really? You know, some people are like, oh yeah, I grew up in this 4-story mansion. Well, yeah, good for you, dude, you know?
I certainly can't say that, but I did grow up in like a house.
You guys, but you know, Gary, you know, so like, 5 people in a 4-bedroom apartment. How's that work out? Until how old, whatever, you know? So you just appreciate it more. You just want to do a lot better. And you just, again, you want to, I guess it's the title of this podcast, you know, you go all in. You got to get the results.
Got to get your upgrades.
Got to get those upgrades. Got to get those toilets and stuff, man. You gotta get those upgrades. Gotta get those new toilets for the studio, Len, you know?
Bro, all right, so to pivot this just for a second, my studio, Gary's been there. When I started it, it was like a practice space, or like a lessons studio. And in about 700 square feet, they had 7 rooms.
Yeah! Yankees got a grand slam. Sorry.
So the room, there was like a bunch of rooms. So I ended up tearing my studio all the way down to the concrete floor and concrete walls, and rebuilding the entire thing from scratch.
Yeah.
All out of my own pocket, because I just really wanted it to be the way I fucking wanted it to be. And I was like, whatever it's going to cost me, I'll just try and make it up somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But exactly.
And I saw the finished product, but I saw plenty of photos over time of the whole progression. Yeah. And it was just crazy, the amount of work that went into that.
And I'm still doing more, but having something that you envision and then work for means so much more later. So for you to like be out in Seattle and then finally come to the decision that, you know what, I want to have a house in which I can A, grow a family, B, do my art and like really concentrate on the things that I love most, it's the perfect thing for you. And I'm really happy for you that you found it.
I appreciate it. And again, I'm in the same boat, you know, like got here, all the studio was, you know, it was hollow. There was no insulation, there was no drywall, there was no lights, there was no nothing, you know, it was just bare. And I'm like, this is my project, this is my masterpiece, this is my final masterpiece, you know. And you know, it feels good. Because, like, here's my thing, man. Like, I know the game. I don't want to schmooze again in the gallery. So hey, why not? Let's build your own gallery. Why not? Like, it's worked before, like whatever. I want to do something on my own and like make it my own, and like I don't have to play the game. I want them to play my game. You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean. Because that's how I ended up with my studios. Because like I would call studios in general and be like, "Yo, can I come just work there? Right. Here's my resume of work. I have a decent amount of business going on, and I just need a place to work." And every place I called was just like, "Nah, bro." And I'm just like, "All right, well, fuck it. I'm gonna build my own thing."
Exactly, and it feels great. It feels great to have a space like that. When people come, I want millions of people to come. Now that it's almost, and I don't want to say COVID's a good thing, but like I can dial it. I can dial it in. And like it could be perfected, and when that party happens, I'm gonna throw the biggest art show party in my studio, and we're just gonna have a good time with my friends here.
Do me a favor, when you do that, send me an invitation. Even if if I can't make it, I still want a fucking invitation. Okay?
Yeah, of course. That sounds great. I'll definitely
be a road trip.
I'll try to stream the party, like let's get everyone involved, but seriously, like I think just knowing how the game is played, I don't want to be I don't want to play it ever again in any facet of my life. I want to control that, I could go down to LA and move there and try to be like this cool hip street artist, man, like I got 70,000 Instagram followers, dude. What's up, dude? Like I'm myself, and I'm gonna keep being that person. So like in anything I do, and if you don't care about it, I don't need it. Right. So why not make something so everyone can come? And now everyone has families, and it's a good family place. People come here with their kids and have an art day, and just enjoy life. Here's a good place for it. There's a lot of darkness in the world, so why not just come in here and just like paint some weird photo, some weird painting for your girlfriend's birthday, just let it all out. Like it's one of those like break rooms, you know what I mean, where you break stuff to get your frustration out. Spray paint on the walls, do something.
Just fucking live a little.
Just live a little, please. Just let it out instead of bent it up. Use it on the internet in a negative way or something, So, and that's what art has helped me in this past 7 months, because as my son was growing up and my wife went to work, I didn't have that time. I was stuck inside. I didn't have that time to paint, because if I'm gonna watch him, I'm gonna watch him. I'm all in, like
right. You can't be half outside. Painting, and
oh, he's good for 20 minutes. The dog's gonna watch him. I gotta like fill this loop. But now
definitely not suggested activities.
No, do not do that at home. Do not do that. All right. But now he's a little bit older. We're both at home. I can do mine. She can do hers. We can trade on and off. We can enjoy our day. We can have a good day. He's happy, so, and
how old is he now?
He is going to be 3 in January.
So you're at a good age, man, because like he's just at the point where he wants to like do his own thing a little bit.
He's got his own little station with his easel and his markers and stuff.
That's cool.
He's got a little art desk in the studio, so sometimes we jam on a painting together. He'll do some scribbles. I'll use it in some weird way. My wife has her letterpress stuff, which people don't know, which is how they used to make newspapers back in the day. And they do like cards. We do our Christmas card with the letterpress. We have the silk screen set up. It's actually my friend's, but it's here just because it's space. So it's a good outlet out here, like I could just come out here and just
have a good day.
and have a good day, and then I can go back inside and exert that good day into my family. You know, like, okay, I got my 2 hours in before bed, so I can go to bed happy. We can watch Cars for the 7 millionth time, you know, and like have a peaceful night. You know what I mean? Even though there's bullshit going on. Oh my God! On top of the bullshit. So like, it's definitely a good like hideaway space. It's triple bullshit.
Your dog is getting after it, bro.
She's a short-nosed boxer.
Then I know exactly what you're talking about right now.
I didn't know that.
That'll do it.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
I was sitting here holding it.
Staying in. That's staying in.
Oh, man. I was sitting here holding it in, but more and more, I'm like, it's getting louder. Getting loud.
Sorry, I had beans for dinner, audience, you know. I was thinking about the new show. I got the bubble guts again. No, it's my
Jesus.
It's my my baby girl, my first baby, Lulu. 40-pound boxer, little bitch. Love.
Rich out here trying to get canceled.
I don't care. Dog.
Yo, how do you feel about that? Think about all the time that we spent doing horrible things over the course of for so long, and like if it was now, we would all be in trouble.
Oh, we'd be canceled immediately.
Jesus, man, I would have like people with pitchforks and like.
Same.
Yeah.
Definitely the same.
I think. So during that time, I started with Joe at This Is Hardcore. Was the time the chokehold incident happened where the guy, that thing, and then like it was just like, oh my God, like, you know, you're working with a murderer. I'm like, who, me? Who, Joe? He's a sweetheart. What are you talking about? And you're like, yeah, he's a murderer and he's a rapist and like out here is pretty PC and like kind of like, you know, you don't say the F word, and I'm not saying about fuck, you know, don't say it.
Right.
You just don't say it. It won't be tolerated. So it was like, I guess what I knew I was getting into, you know, like. All right, you gotta go.
Yo, I need a picture of your dog, because that's gonna be like, I'm gonna cut that into this video because I need to I want it to pop up every once in a while.
That's gonna go in the main image for the podcast.
Oh,
for this episode,
Lulu has made the cover.
Yeah.
She actually hurt her leg the other day, and she's like super bummed out about it, and like she's literally white on rice on me like these past couple of days. So like, feels so.
I had a pit bull who snored like just a fucking whirlwind. She could be in the living room and I'd be in my bedroom and I'd be like, yo, it is so fucking noisy in here right now. I can't sleep because you're snoring. And I'll get up and I'll walk out there and be like, yo, can you shut the fuck up?
Right. So our older dog, Indy, who the one who passed, who I was talking about before, 80-pound dog, right? Whatever, big dog, whatever, curls up into the ball. Didn't even know he was in the bed with us, right? Whatever, right? This dog, 40 pounds, she pushed me off the bed once. I'm like,
no doubt. Right
out. I'm like, get the fuck
in there.
And you're like,
sheets, and now she's on the couch, and now I'm somewhere else.
Like my pit bull, when I had her, she was about 45 pounds. But she's 45 solid ass pounds.
Yeah,
and she would get in the bed and all four paws in all different directions.
Yep.
You're just like, yo, bro, could you just give me like 2 inches? Just 2 inches. And I'm like literally hanging off the bed. And I'm like, how is it possible that a dog that is like literally 2 feet off the ground, grand total, and weighs 1/4, not even 1/4, like 1/8 my weight. How is this possible that you're pushing me out of the bed? You're being an asshole right now. So she got banned from the bedroom for a long time.
We run into our bed and make sure, like, before she gets up the stairs and, like, get in, you know, like, put her legs, like, no, this is your spot, get into it, you know, like. Yeah. And she doesn't.
No fucking around. Don't fuck with me. This is our spot.
Yeah.
You guys got that. I just got 2 cats that are fucking assholes trying to push me out of the bed all the time.
Fuck
so,
cat.
Like, cats don't give a shit about you at all. They're just waiting for you to die.
I love them. The big one thinks that he's a fucking dog.
Oh, no.
But, you know, I mean, I like cats and dogs. It's just my lifestyle with traveling and shit. I can't have a fucking dog. It's just too much.
But I will say that not having a dog makes it a lot easier for traveling.
Yeah, I mean, I live alone, so it's like I'd have to get somebody to watch the dog, walk the dog.
Right.
You know, like the cats, it's like, you know, I have Maria come by, you know, make sure they didn't wreck the place.
Right.
That's all.
Here's some fucking litter.
Yeah, because they don't fuck. Listen, they're sick of my shit. I've been working from home. I'm in their fucking space all day. I go to bed and they're looking at me like, you want to come to this bed? Like, This is my bed.
Lou's the bodyguard. Lou's been my bodyguard. She's gonna turn 8 next week, and she's been my bodyguard since like moving out here. So like, she's like that little. If she would be a girl who'd listen to E-Town Concrete, and we all know those girls. She's all like, yo. That's Lulu. The 40 boxer.
Oh shit!
Yeah. If I was allowed to put earrings, I would put big hoop earrings on Lulu, and she like, and a triple fat goose. I'm like, yeah, you listen, or irate or something, you know.
So man! All right, Rich. One of the things we do before we get out of here with any guest. We ask them a random question, and it's usually like a top 5. What I want to ask you is top 5 worst sets you've ever sat through.
Oh my god, so many. So, oh man.
And it, you know, this is off the cuff. Like, if you have others, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I just want to hear about 5 absolutely horrible things you sat through, and you wanted to basically kill yourself.
It's subject to change. We'll put that disclaimer in there just to save you some hassle.
So, like, the worst set I've ever seen in my life, I think I saw Hole at Roseland, and they had this opening band called Motel Shootout. And they were just this worst, like, female-fronted cock rock band. And I told someone to, like, pick me up. I was a little bit lighter at the time, and, like, crowd surf me to the edge of the stage. And as I got to the edge of the stage, I said, "You fucking suck!" And, like, and the girl fucking dropped her guitar and walked off stage. And I'm like, it was just that horrible. I had to do something. It was better for everyone. So like,
you had it was just an absolute need. You had to do it.
It was
Rich Hall set killer.
It was my civic duty to do that for everyone's sanity. You know what I mean?
He had to go shut that down.
Shut it down. I think another set, and I'm probably gonna get some fucking bullshit from my Boston friends, but like Sam Black Church at Seabees. One summer, it was funny.
Bad?
It was funny because the show was like super huge. It was like Madball, Fury of V. Some other hardcore, like big hardcore bands, One for One, Back to Basics, whatever, support the scene, and Sam Black Church. And no one watched them. Everyone, it was the summer. Gary, you know, and Len, you know. The summer, when outside of CB shows, it's the summer, you're staying outside. You don't know the band.
People drinking 40s outside.
If you don't know the band, you're not watching.
Take it down the block, you know. And, like, at that point, like, Sam Black Church was around for years, like, maybe 20 years at that point. And it was just so bad. And, like...
I may have been at that show. I don't remember. I definitely saw Sam Black Church at Wetlands at least once.
Yeah. You were probably drinking 40. You were so busy, you know?
It's quite possible.
Yeah. And
I like them, but, you know, priorities.
Exactly. And Tyler's like, let's go up and support them. I'm like, no.
Absolutely not.
No. I've never really, oh man, I think a couple of maybe like industry showcases I've had to be at, you know, for work. It's just like, what the, I'm like, I'm going to start drinking. Fuck this.
I'm going to start drinking.
Some of those are rough.
Oh my God. And then like, you have to like put on the car salesman face. Like, yeah, we want your merch rights. What's up, man? How are you? Great set, dude. Like air guns and all that kind of stuff, you know?
Air guns.
Air guns, dude. Give me a pound, man. Cool, dude. You know?
God. See, I was at those things, but I never had to play the game like that. Like I was like, first it was college radio, then it was working for Tower Records, and then it was working for like Red Distribution and Capitol Records, and like I never really had to play the game like that. But
you were just like, I'm just a stock boy. I'm out. Peace, dude.
I was just there, like, you know, working for whatever department I was in, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just here for the beer.
Yeah, pretty much. At that point, like, all right, it's 2 songs in.
They don't care what I think, because I'm just gonna be like, yeah, your shit's whack.
I mean, not that they cared what I thought, but I had to get them.
Yeah, you gotta kind of sell it. I was lucky. I was never in sales, or marketing. Like I was always doing other shit, so I didn't have to play the game like that.
But a lot of the times I worked with my friends anyway, and just kind of knew what they were getting into, and like it was just, I made people money, and they were happy about it. So like, all right, cool.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, that's cool. You're happy. I'm getting paid. My boss is happy. That's cool. Like, cool. So, give me another random question. Why not?
Well, I know that your favorite band to go see is Faith No More.
Yeah.
You got a random question, Gary?
What about, just as a fan, what about some best shows?
Oh, here we go. As a fan.
Like, not even necessarily stuff you promoted or whatever, but like, you know, like we talked about Faith No More at Roseland, which was a fucking fantastic show. Because Faith No More is always a fantastic show.
Faith No More out here for Bumbershoot, which is like the big festival. I was working for a venue out here when we were still living in Seattle, and they played Bumbershoot, and like got laced up and like got to see Faith No More like 10 feet away.
Nice.
And like, them just fucking destroy it, and it was just like one of the best sets I've ever seen. Queens of the Stone Age with Dave Grohl at Bowery Ballroom, and there was probably about 100 people there. It was like an industry like showcase or whatever.
Right.
Like it played songs from the Dead in full, and it was just like wow. The Bronx in Vegas at the Double Down, that was an amazing show. We drank all the whiskey after, but it was like, that place is evil, but like that was one of the best shows ever. I'm there in a suit, not in a suit, but like in a nice shirt and tie, because I had to work a convention, and I'm just mashing it up, and I'm like, this is great. This is so much fun. I brought people like who are like from stores, like, you got to see this band, come with me. And like they're like, oh my God, Rich, this is so crazy. And I'm like,
Like, yo, chill. It's not that crazy.
Dude, you want to see crazy? Come on. Also, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax at Nassau Coliseum. I got to see them from the photo bay, and that was just like, it was mind blowing. Like,
that was with Hanneman, right?
Yeah,
that was when Megadeth did all the Rust in Peace.
Yep.
I talked about that recently because I was on Hanneman's side, and he sounded terrible that night.
Oh, really? I was just enthralled by this like concert. You know what I mean? This concert.
It was a great show, but I was just like shocked by how Hanneman sounded. Like it really threw me for a loop. And then like when I saw them again, it was with Gary Holt, and I was like, whoa! It was huge.
Interesting, huh? I don't remember. I haven't really seen him with Holt, so I can't really compare. But I think Hanneman died like a year later, maybe.
It was like a year and change later, I think.
Yeah,
because it was right before he got sick.
Yep.
Sick.
Yeah. Sick, quote unquote.
Well, I mean, the spider bite was true. Of course, the cirrhosis is another story, but
the spider bite wasn't what killed the motherfucker.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't help. So, like,
but I mean, I had seen Slayer like so many times. Like, we're talking about this with Ren. Like, I've probably seen Slayer at least like 12 times, 14 times.
Same here.
And that was the worst I saw them. And then Yankee Stadium was by far the best I saw them.
Oh, the 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just from opening note, they just fucking destroyed it.
Dope.
And with Gary Holt tightening it up, it was just like seeing a whole new band.
I think at that show I finally realized how short Kerry King was. Like, what? I'm not scared of this dude. Fuck this dude. Like, this dude's a dwarf, dude. Like, why was I scared of him when I was 12? I was the same size as him.
Oh man.
It's funny too. I was with a friend took me actually. Like, she asked me to go. I'm like, cool. And she's a well-bosomed lady, like woman and all that. She's very mature and all that. And like, we were hanging out, and like, Dave Mustaine like totally like looks down her shirt. I'm like, you get a good peek, dude? And like, looks up, and he was like, ah. And he just scuttles back off into his bus or whatever. And I'm like, fuck that guy too, but he could still play. Like the show was still great. So,
wow.
But yeah,
Dave,
those are the shows. Those are like the top, like, oh my God, I can't believe what I just saw. But that Faith No More was probably like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, Faith No More in general is pretty much like that. All right, here's another question for you in a totally different direction. Give me a couple of comic book story arcs that really you really got into from like early on.
Oh, X-Men: Days of Futures Past.
Excellent.
Was insane as a kid. Like, what? They went back in time. These Sentinels are killing all the mutants. Like, what? And
that's definitely one of mine for sure.
I like Crisis of Infinite Earths. As a kid, that was like the big storyline. Supergirl died. That cover of Superman holding Supergirl and all the heroes around them. That as a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever. Like, it was like, whoa, I gotta get this comic.
Right.
X-Men Marauder, the Mutant Massacre, maybe?
Oh, Mutant Massacre. Classic.
Yeah. That was kind of fucked up to read as a kid.
I mean, it was really... it's funny because all the things, and I agree with you on all of these, but all the ones you're talking about are some really twisted shit where a bunch of characters fucking died.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wow.
Like you don't really think about it, but like if you sit there and think about it, it's like all that is all some twisted shit with a bunch of characters biting the dust.
just getting like smoked out, like left, right. What?
I mean, some of them like Days of Future Past and Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was like a whole timeline thing, different timelines, time travel, all that shit. And, and some of these characters that ended up still alive after the whole thing was done are dying in the future. It's all fucked up, but you know, it's funny. It's funny that that's kind of a theme that goes through it. You know,
exactly. And then the Batman Killing Joke, where Joker kills Rob, is like what? So, and then I think comics got. I think also I kind of like the whole Spider-Man Venom Carnage thing because Mark Bagley, who drew that whole like arc or whatever, is one of my favorite artists as well, and like I enjoyed both the art and the story, and I feel like after that it kind of got soft in a way.
Well, I mean, they beat Venom to death.
Right, you know,
and Carnage, and it's like because once, I mean, it's weird because it ties into the Image Comics thing that we were talking about before because McFarlane left, and then they felt like they had to compensate for it by just doing crazy shit and beating Venom to death and like having Venom in every fucking comic book.
Here's he back. Now we killed him with the Sonic Cannon. Now he's back. We're going to kill him with the Sonic Cannon.
Because they did the same thing with Deadpool also.
Right. So, and then I think those were like monumental in my like childhood. Those four. And like, again, like the fifth being just, again, the art capturing me and like, wow, where's this going? Like, this is so executed so well. I want to do this, you know. So, and the Yankees win, yeah.
No, you got some good choices in there. Those would probably be my picks. Also, the only other one that I would add would be, you know, the beginning, like the first probably 30 to 40 issues, maybe even more of the New Mutants.
Oh,
like the very beginning with Sienkiewicz doing the art early on.
Okay.
With the Demon Bear and all that stuff, the stuff that they end up turning into a movie that still hasn't come out.
Not in theaters.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure it came out in theaters and only made like $7 million.
Did it finally? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, they sat on the thing for years, so I don't even think they care at this point.
I keep trying to find it on my bootleg sites, but no avail.
I haven't seen it yet, but that would be the one that I would add on there because I was a huge fan of the artwork and the story, and it was definitely darker than a lot of the other stuff. And Sienkiewicz is one of my favorite artists just because he had that crazy style.
And that's the thing about going back to art school. You're you know, as a young kid, that stuff impacts you like that.
Yeah.
And you want to do it on your own. And, like, people who are still older than Sienkiewicz are like, no, that's the new school way. I'm like, wait, this is 20 years old at this point. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're just old. And is definitely disparaging as a young artist who wants to make it. You're like, nope, you got to do it the Marvel way or the DC way. And
right. Everybody wants you to draw like John Romita.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just never felt that freedom. You know, maybe if someone from Image Comics worked there at the time, like, you could do it. I feel what you're doing. Go for it. I would have probably had better.
And I look at it just as a fan because I don't have a single visual art bone in my body. I can't even draw stick figures. But
me either, man.
Yeah.
I'm just like drawing inept.
Yeah, but I was always a fan of comic books from when I was really small.
Yeah.
And grew into it as you know, comics kind of grew into what they are now because, you know, they were throwaways and then they started doing, you know, when I was really young, stories started really picking up.
Yeah, and then when you see it on the big screen, you're just like,
oh, forget it.
My dream come true.
Now, Marvel has done to me what Marvel did with that whole stretch from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to match it.
No, and as much as they hype up this new phase 4, I guess it is, it's not going to be the same. It could be, but who knows? But it's so.
I think it'll be good. It could be great, but I'm also going into it with the realization that no matter what, it's like hearing your favorite band and that one album that was the masterpiece for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like after that, it's like you got to look at it and they're never going to hit that peak again.
But I'm still going to see. I'm still going to watch it because
absolutely.
I want to see a Shang-Chi movie, Master of Kung Fu. Why not? That dude's awesome. And that was the thing too about like comics, because I was into so much of it that the random characters like that always attracted me. Like, oh, what's this adventure? Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Like, what?
Right.
Like, crazy. This is like a black exploitation comic. Like, this is cool though. Like, I don't understand it.
And the other thing with Marvel also is they took characters that nobody really thought about and turned them into household names. Because listen, I was always a comic book guy, but I didn't know that current lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they put out Guardians and it's one of their biggest movies.
Yeah. Or Black Panther, and he was always like a guest star. He always showed up in the comics.
Yeah.
You didn't really see his comics because at that time when we started collecting, it was done. That run was done. So.
Right. And they've just proved that they could take pretty much any character and turn them into something.
And that's the magic, that still, and it's cool that now, I don't know if DC does it. I believe so to a point, but like Marvel, it's an app and you can just scroll through all the comics that you want. And
I think DC has something similar. I'm not too sure.
I think it's with their channel, but
yeah, it's tied. But I don't know what they're doing because I've heard rumors that they're phasing out that channel and just going to fold all that stuff into HBO Max now.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Whatever, that's cool. I'll still watch it. Like, I love Doom Patrol. I'll watch Titans. Me and my wife, that's all we do. We watch pretty much comic book kind of sci-fi movies.
Yeah, I haven't really watched the DC stuff because I'm more of a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
There's some DC stuff that I do like. Like I always liked Batman and Green Lantern hooked me in when they did the Blackest Night years ago.
Oh, okay.
Like that whole thing I thought was really good. But I haven't really watched the TV stuff at all.
Yeah, like with Doom Patrol, like it's so good it can be its own show.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay with it because it's that kind of like off the cuff, weird, anti-superhero show.
Right.
You'll just enjoy it as well. And that's like what we do, like Boys, like Umbrella Academy and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Like, it's not decent. It's not your household name, but it's your independent stuff.
Right.
My wife used to work Fantagraphics, so like
okay,
all that stuff. I love all that stuff too. Just being a weird independent comic book fan.
Yeah.
Like that appeals to her more because she's
that's cool.
been so like exposed to that kind of side. So like she'll watch the Umbrella Academy like this is great, and then she'll watch like Jessica Jones and she's like this is great, but I like the weirder better. So like
yeah.
So it just pulls you in more. And I don't know if anyone's watching Lovecraft Country.
We've been purposely avoiding discussing it because we discussed this on a recent show. Once the season is done, we are going to get deep into that motherfucker because that show is insanity.
Oh boy! Boy!
That show is easily one of the best shows I've seen in the last 10 years, if not in my entire life.
And it continues every week to be more and more insanity.
Ooh boy. Ooh, child. Tell me about it.
I feel like we need to have a group call in for this next for this the discussion.
Yeah, I'll jump in, say my part. When it concludes and you do that, ooh wee.
Yeah, we started to talk about it on a recent episode, and we were like, no, stop. Let's wait, because the season's only over in a couple of weeks. I think there's only 2 more episodes.
There's 2 more episodes. That's it.
And that shit is just nonstop madness.
Yo, this last week's episode alone.
Yeah. Oh my god, so effed. So I'm not the biggest horror person, like movie wise. Like I think I got exposed to too much at a young age, so I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But that show, oh my god, I got sucked in like the first 2 episodes. I'm like, yes, let's go. Like, oh my god, it's just ooh. It
only took me 1 episode to be fully sucked in. Like I got maybe 15 minutes in, and I was like, "Oh no, this show is definitely made for me."
Yeah. I honestly didn't know what to expect, but I wanted to check it out, and I watched the first episode, and I was just like, "Holy shit!"
I've turned some friends onto it, and they were like, thank you. And they're horror writers too. And like, yeah, I kind of didn't read the book. I'm like, watch the show. You just got to watch it. Just shut up. And they're like, oh my God.
I mean, I have never read the book. So
from what I have heard, they do kind of deviate from the book in a way, because the book is kind of just almost an anthology. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because on the show, in a sense, it's like that also. That each episode is very different in feel.
Right.
But, there's different characters and stuff like that in the book. And with this one, they try to tie in those main characters to the different stories, which is cool.
So something you both probably don't know about me, I have a very, very, very low attention span. And that is the reason why I never got into comics, because I can't bring myself to really sit down and read them. It's the same reason why I don't actually read books, is because I can't, it will take me, let's just say it's a 100-page book. I need 10 minutes per page, because I got to read it 4 or 5 times to really grasp everything that I've read, because I'm skimming and then I'm jumping back and forth, and I'm not really able to pay attention to the words on the page. So in high school and even elementary school all the way through college, I've graduated through all of that without any reading at all. I've never read a book for a book report. I've never read anything beyond a newspaper article or a magazine article, because they're short enough for me to actually stay focused and complete the mission. Like a book, there's only 2 books that I've ever read completely from end to end. One is the Ric Flair autobiography.
Nice.
I love the man, so I had to go ahead and do
choice.
it. But the way I did that was across an entire summer, I read it on the shitter. So I would read 2 pages at a time, and I could handle that. And then, over time, I never read the book anywhere other than in the bathroom. And then on tour with one of my other bands back in the day, I read the Zombie Survival Guide. That's it. Those are the only 2 books I've ever read cover to cover. Sure, I've read a chapter here and, some pages here of classic books that you have to read, but I've never really focused on them. And that's the reason why I can't really jump into these comic conversations you guys are having, is because I haven't spent the time reading them, because I can't bring myself to do it.
I had a longer commute. So I used to read books. So I used to be a big, who's that guy who, shit, I forget it.
That's what happens when you're in your 40s. You can't remember shit.
What author? Who are you talking about?
Oh man, Jack Ryan, that
that whole
yeah, I used to my dad was was in the military, so like I kind of have that love. So like those movies were good, and then I was just like, oh, I'm gonna read the books, and like I fell in love with that character in his books and his other books and stuff, and then I used to read a lot of Irvine Welsh, the guy who wrote Trainspotting. And then I don't know, I got a shorter commute, I guess. And then I just stopped reading. I just usually would have a book in my bag just to kind of thumb through, like, depending on, you know, like how long my commute was. But now, like, I just rather listen to music and just kind of like.
That's always been my thing.
Yeah, I don't find myself reading much. Like when I used to have the commute, when I used to work in Manhattan or work in Brooklyn or whatever, you know, I was always reading comic books or reading books or whatever.
Right.
And you know, I mean, I haven't read comics in quite a while for the most part. Like, you know, especially once the Walking Dead comic ended, like I haven't really read anything since practically.
Yeah, like again, like going back to that Marvel app, it's just perfect. I could just like, I want to check out the Defenders, you know, like Team Avengers, and scroll through and like, oh, it's issue 17. I can just pop it on, and like I'll do like a free trial here and there, so like I don't have to pay for it. But yeah, it's a good like kind of like utility to have, like especially me doing art, and like just usually I get like colors, inspiration for colors and like shapes and stuff for like my newer pieces. I'll just like, oh, this is great. I love this style. Like, you know, like with Jack Kirby stuff, I'm just like, this is just insane to even take it. But yeah, so like that. Yeah, comics and Lovecraft County. Oh my country. Oh my god. oh my god.
I mean that show was just insane.
Yeah, it's one of the good ones. I thought like I've seen some good TV shows, but like this is the one, and like I have to see a lot of. I have to go back and watch a lot of Michael Peel's. I'm sorry, is that his name, Michael Peel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Michael Peel. Yeah, it's his production company. He does it with Bad
it's
Robot.
a combination of him with J.J. Abrams with Bad Robot.
I gotta go back and watch Us, and I heard that movie's fucked up.
Yeah, so I never watched Us or what was the other one?
Get Out.
Yeah, I never watched either one of those. Like,
but if
not hating, but you know what? Honestly, like, you know, you mentioned you're not much of a horror guy, like.
Right.
You know, we've had discussions about horror stuff on here, like Phil Irate and Len could go all day about horror. Like me, I'm kind of like I was into it a bit in the 80s and even dabbled in the early 90s, and then I completely lost interest in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, okay, Freddy 17, he's in your nightmares. Woo, Boogeyman. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like I could talk all day, and I've tried on this podcast once or twice, talking about all kinds of science fiction shit.
Right.
Because I'm deep with the science fiction. You know, not so much the books lately, but especially like any kind of TV, movie stuff. Like, we could do a whole episode about Planet of the Apes or some shit, but I'm not so much up on horror. You know, after the late 80s, really.
The wife likes the 100 and Expanse and all those, and I'm just like, I'm going to play Angry Birds, but I'm in the same room with them. I just can't get into it. It's just, I don't know. CW11, whatever channel it is, wherever you're from, like those shows.
I haven't really watched that stuff, but like there's a lot of other stuff. Like there's a show on HBO Max that just finished called Raised by Wolves. That's created by Ridley Scott, who did Alien and Blade Runner and all that stuff. And it's a weird show, but it's really out there, and it's heavy with the sci-fi stuff. And then I'm into a lot of other stuff like that, you know.
So
Lovecraft Country is kind of in between, so it hits perfectly.
Oh, it hits so many levels, so many levels, and especially after watching Watchmen.
Oh, such a good show.
It's just like I have to watch this. I have to watch this. I have to watch this one. You know, so like, it's one of those things. It's just like I'm so, and it sucks because like we caught up late, and now we're all caught up. Now we have to wait a week, and it's like, oh my god, like, oh my god, give me.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I know.
Well,
so Netflix ruined it for us because they gave us the option of this binge thing.
Oh yeah, binge the whole thing.
And now everything that doesn't come out as a binge, it's like pulling teeth half the time. You're like, God damn it!
Right. Well, that show, The Boys, they did. Amazon Prime did that first. They gave you like all 10 episodes, and then this season they were like, nah, you get it once a week now. It's like, wait, what?
Well, they did that real grimy drug dealer shit where they gave you 2 in the first week.
Got 3.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
They gave you the first 3, and then you're hooked.
Like, here.
And they're like, all right, we're just going to give you 1 a week now.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's what was cool about that Raised by Wolves show on HBO Max, because they gave you, I think the first week was 3 episodes, and then after that, every week was 2 episodes.
Oh,
but
cool.
now it's over, and I'm probably going to have to wait a fucking year for the next season.
Or 2 years.
It's like you get screwed no matter what.
Huh.
Yeah.
They get you all hooked on the shit, and then they're like, yeah, you're going to have to wait.
Yo, feed me it. Come on, give me it. I need it.
You sit there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I spend my time just looking for the next crack, because I'm like, what show am I going to binge next? Like, what am I shooting in my mental veins next?
I'm not that concerned about that stuff, because like I could be painting, I could be doing something else. You know what I mean? Like, but it's late at night, and like the night's over, and like we're just like winding down. Like I could put on MLB Network and be okay, but my wife was like, "We have to watch something," you know that. And I'm like, "All right, fine," you know, like
yeah.
I'll be playing Angry Birds, like I said, you know, like.
So like for
look
me,
at you trying to be all creative and shit.
Exactly.
For me, in my like makeshift studio in my basement.
Yeah.
So I've got in front of me the computer that we're talking on, which is also like my makeshift home studio computer.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to my left my work laptop. And then just over where the laptop crests is a 40-inch TV that I send movies and TV shows to. So I'm like watching TV while I'm working, and secondarily working on my studio stuff all day. 9 to 5 every day. So it's like I need something to binge on this TV, and I haven't been watching it this week because it's only Monday, but I didn't even turn it on today because I don't even know what to watch next. But something has to come, and maybe it will be The Boys.
Watch The Boys, because you can binge it, and then you can catch up, and then you can be with the rest of humanity who like it, and then
we could talk about it.
You could talk about it. But yeah, I think I work better with music. I feel like sometimes I'll throw on like a Batman Beyond just to like get some inspiration, as far as like, again, like with the colors and like what's that weird shape in the background. I'm gonna steal that, you know. So, but yeah, music is mostly the main thing on in here. Sometimes I'll have a baseball game during the summer, but that's like few and far between. I'd rather just stay inside, not be hot, and enjoy the air condition. I did my upgrade. I had to get like a Sonos like speaker, just like
nice
a room with some music. So I got to do it right. I'm all in. That was my Christmas gift to myself. So like,
nice.
So yeah, so I'm not really a big TV person, you know. Like I can't. The only thing I'll sit in front and watch baseball. I'll watch baseball. I can veg out potato chips on my stomach, you know, in my pocket. You know,
I mean, that's supported, 100% supported.
Yeah. like, and just loaf on a Sunday and just watch baseball. Like, I don't want to do nothing. Well, we have to do, well, I don't care, after the game, and
Go away, I'm baiting.
Exactly. I got my potato chips on my stomach. Like, I'm gonna watch the baseball game. So like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
We tend to talk forever on this show, so
I love it.
Just kind of happens.
I love it. You just peter out and then you like perk back up.
Yeah. It's like, all right, yeah, just to wrap this up, and then like another hour and a half later, like
yeah, like going to a hardcore show, like you're there, everyone's loaded out, and you're like, shit, I'm the last person here. Like,
yeah,
I was supposed to be home a half an hour ago, so can't do that with kids, man. That sucks. That's like the biggest out. I'm like, gotta go. I don't have to put them to bed, but I gotta go. I'm just gonna use this as an excuse, So, oh man, crazy.
Well, Rich,
we can wrap it up if you want. That'd be fine by me. I think we've got some serious content for the masses. So,
I mean, 3.5 hours. We're below average right now.
Oh, excuse me. What else?
No, but seriously, Rich, I appreciate you jumping on this and just having a good time hanging out, talking about hopefully things that other people haven't talked to you about in any of your other previous interviews.
I've saved some stuff for here, expanded on other stuff. So like, I didn't really, you got some good content, I think.
He gave us the good stuff.
I'd love to come back on if you're stuck for.
This Lovecraft Country thing, it might happen.
Because we might put together a little group for that, like to really get into this.
Oh, I'm in.
There's a couple people that want to talk about it, and I don't think everybody knows each other, so it'll make it even better. And
that show certainly leaves a lot to talk about.
Oh my God, I got so many questions.
Oh man.
All right, well, when we schedule that episode, we'll hit you up and let you know what the deal is.
The wife understands my new fangled podcast popularity, so like the time will be carved out.
Oh
man.
No, I appreciate it, dudes. You guys are old friends of mine. I appreciate the talk. It was good to have some laughs and not think about the world for a couple hours. And I hopefully that will bring it to someone else as well. So like, I'm glad to do it.
This is one of our rare shows where we haven't touched politics.
I'm glad.
Not even once.
And I'm good with that.
I can say, all right, I'll say fuck politics, fucking over it. I want the good stuff. I want the good stuff back, So that's all
hopefully we'll be able to get that.
Fingers crossed, and when that happens, I'll see you guys in person, and we'll give hugs and laughs, and we'll have a great time, as we usually do.
Sounds awesome.
All right, my friends, you be good.
Rich, thank you for coming on.
I can't wait to hear this, and I'm going to share it to all my socials, and so everyone else can hear it as well.
Anything you want to plug?
No.
Totally fine.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram to see my artwork. Instagram.com/Rich, RICH _ Hall, HALL. Check it out. If you like something, cool. If you don't, fuck you. I don't care. How about that?
Perfect.
His paintings come highly recommended.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me and having fun with me.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
And this has been The Upgrade, theupgradepodcast.net.
.net.
.net.
N-E-T.
Yep. For all those links, to Friendster and whatever. I'm kind of running that joke into the ground.
Yeah,
Friendster joke. I got to come up with something.
I mean, they ran their company into the ground. It's the same thing.
That's true. And
on Ello, I'm like, oh man, it's coming back. Cool. Ello for the win, man.
Yo, bro, I joined Ello, and that is the worst fucking site on the planet.
What about the other one, Verb or whatever it was?
I don't know. I joined it and I was like, this is dumb.
I don't know what the fuck
they're all
you guys
dumb
talking about at all.
It's still on my phone. I don't care. Whatever.
I mean, we screwed up.
Your data.
Screwed up and let our GeoCities run out. So this is what we got. So our Ancient Fire page is no longer.
And I'm not allowed to get TikTok anymore. So don't check my TikTok.
I got it, and I'm like, what now? And like, my wife downloaded it, and she's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'll just keep it around.
You got one. You got it.
Got it.
Too old for that shit.
Maybe see my dog snoring on it. Who knows? I'll send you that picture of her. So
yes, please do.
You got it.
All right, upgradepodcast.net, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace and hair grease.